link.
Oh, I never finished my trans intro. I got to work on that. I forgot all about it. It's been a lot going on, Ben. What have you been doing, Mr. I'm about to go crazy, but I got a week off from medical school.
I know, I got a week off because my attending, unfortunately, has some family things going on and has to be out for a week. So I'm sad that she has to go through that, and I hope that everything's okay with her family. But at the same time, after last month of hell, I am okay to stay home and study this week. I'm not going to be mad about it. So
I was going to say,
here we are.
I feel no anger coming from you, sir.
I ate a burger today. I studied. I did 50 questions. I watched 2 or 3 lectures. I hung out with Bolt. You know, it was a good day.
A chilled fucking day, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I had a little bit of orientation for my rotation, but...
Ollie, if you ever want to come to the Southwest and visit, come down here and you and I will fucking get blazed as fuck together. I'll just take a few days off work and we'll just like stay high for like 5 days or 4 days or something. I totally do that with you. So thanks for coming, Ollie and John and Commander's up there and Kyle and Krabby. It's good to see you, sweetheart.
I want to...
Oh, I got a handsome. Moving up in the world, Ben.
Yes.
I got a compliment, not just you this time, bro.
You did.
Nice. Fuck it.
So I want to, on behalf of both of us, I want to invite any trans people in the audience to join on the panel tonight, because it is on Thursday. It is Trans Day of Visibility, so this is kind of the week of trans visibility. So if anyone wants to come onto the panel who is trans anywhere on that spectrum, that is you are welcome to come in.
I will also say, if you are questioning and you want to come in under disguise and have talk and ask questions, you are welcome to do that. Once I know who you are, change your name to whatever the fuck you want, and we'll bring you in after that. I won't out anybody. Ben and I are not about that shit. We are big advocates of the entire community, and we protect our people. So if anybody ever wants to come in, or if you want to change your name on there and ask questions, even if we figure out who you are, we're not going to say a fucking word, because we would never do that to anybody. So just so it, this is a safe place to ask any kind of questions. Like literally, you can ask Ben and I anything. We might decline to answer because it might be too personal, but in general, you're going to get an answer from one of us. Because if it's something I can't answer, Ben can. And if he doesn't want to answer, I will. So that's where we're at. So you guys ask anything you want. You know the rule. Don't be a dick. Be respectful. And all are welcome here. For sure. So you did what today, Ben? You studied up a little bit and hung out with Bolt. Did you play Euro?
No, I didn't play anything. I was studying while Bolt was and Kat were playing another game, but I was in voice chat.
Oh, okay. Cool. So you guys were just kind of chilling together. That's good.
Oh man, not this topic.
Okay, can I just say, I want to just say this real quick. I think it was absolutely 100% staged. And it was just it was an attention getter. That's what I think. I watched it myself. I watched it 3 times in a row. That was an attention getter. It was way too laid back. It was way too... If he literally would have hit him and it wasn't set up, the security would have removed Will Smith. They have to by law. So there's no fucking way that happened. So we can just negate that whole thing. I think it's a whole setup to get attention, and it's bullshit.
Brainbug, would you like to come in? We're having a trans week of visibility talk tonight.
BB,
so any and all trans and non-binary people are welcome into the panel tonight.
Yes. So come on in, BB, if you want. I'd love to talk to you.
Hell yeah. Brainbug says they can come in.
You gonna send them a link?
Yeah, I can send them a link.
Okay.
Yeah, my whole thing is like, I mean, the joke was in absolute poor taste. But otherwise, I don't have a whole lot of opinions because it's so much drama that I don't care about. But the joke was in poor taste.
The joke was in poor taste. It was not appropriate or anything. Another reason why it makes me feel like it was staged. That and the fact that I'm pretty sure those two guys are buddies. Pretty sure they're from the same. They came into the biz around the same era. They're about the same age. They've known each other for years. You know, all those guys know each other because you're, you know, you end up on the same movie sets over and over again. When I was on the Netflix movie set, those people who you'd think that they wouldn't maybe know they all acted like they were buddies and known each other forever. So, you know, they bump into each other over and over again, especially African American, you know, of those descent actors, because they end up in a lot of the same movies together. You know,
I don't have a whole lot of
in the white community, there's like 20 awesome actors that everybody wants. In the black community, there's 20 awesome actors so they all know each other because they end up, you know, working together so much.
Apparently they have a history of trouble with each other. But again, like I honestly, like I don't really give a shit. I don't really give a shit about what's going on in celebrity circles. Like it's not
crap. Yeah.
I don't care about celebrity drama.
I don't either. We have enough real world drama right here. I got enough shit in my own life. I don't need anybody else's drama. I don't watch drama channels. I don't watch drama series, TV shit. I got enough of that shit. And what I don't have, that I have so little of, I'd like to keep it right there. So, somebody's looking good tonight.
Like with all the trans things going on, all the like don't say gay stuff going on, all the people trying to tell us we don't exist. Yeah, I don't really care about the news at all. I'm kind of staying away from that.
Yeah. So my position, I said that I was on Andy Hall's show this morning for a minute, and I said then, and I'm going to repeat it again here, just so my position is very clear. I don't think that there's any circumstances other than in self-defense where it is okay to strike another human being or even lay your hands on them at all without their consent.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But my issue has not been with Will Smith. My issue is with the Oscars themselves. I've been to many of shows and concerts and plays and awards ceremonies, and never has someone been able to just get up and walk onto the stage.
I'm telling you, that's why I think it was staged.
Chris Rock should be suing the Oscars for not protecting him properly from that. If that's what happened, that's what it looks like to me, that Will Smith got up and it didn't take him 20 seconds to get up there to him. No one tried to stop him. No one did anything.
That's why I think it was staged.
Yeah. And then, and he went and he assaulted him and then went and sat back down and still nothing happened. So that's just not how things should work in the real world. Maybe Will Smith doesn't realize that the rest of us live in that real world, but you know, it is what it is. I'm admiring my hair.
I don't know about that. All I know is it's a bunch of star drama, and you know, look, I'm going to tell you something. When I worked and did the testing for Netflix, and this was like 2 months of being around these people. And somebody was like, "Oh, there's who was it? Jazzy Beats put this thing on, blah blah blah, TikTok or whatever it was, or Instagram, or I don't remember which one it was, Snapchat." And so they showed it to me, and she had tested positive with us, and she had to be quarantined for 3 days. And then she tested again, and she was negative. She didn't even fucking have it. It was a false positive. But anyways, the point is, one of the guys there, actually two of the guys there, one was like in his house and he's like, "Oh man, I think somebody's breaking into my house. Oh my God." And so he's like trying to sneak around his house and it's half dark. You can barely see anything. And then he's like, "Oh, they're in the front door." And you're thinking, "Oh fuck, this guy's going to get jumped." Right. It was just another fucking actor. Screw it. They were just playing around. Like, this is the shit they do. They live on the road most of the time. They're barely ever home. These people that they hang out, it's like when you're in the army and those people become like part of your family because you're around them so much.
Yeah, like your
you know, it's hard to believe that he would just like get up and walk up there and smack him and then go sit down and nothing would fucking. That's bullshit. It's bullshit.
I mean, I used to be in acting, and there are plenty of people I performed with that I despised.
Well.
That I was around all the time that I despised.
It was all staged. I'm convinced of it. Nobody's going to convince me any different.
I don't do any acting, but I am a YouTuber and I'm a part of a YouTube community, and there's people in that community that I despise, that I smile
There's people in this community I would not be on a stream with.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely not.
Ox, I'm going to tell you, I honestly thought I was going to run into a bunch of assholes at that set. I mean, I met some really famous people: Regina King, Idris Elba, R.J. Seiler from the Blue Ranger. Like I met all
Idris
these
Elba. He's
Zazie
gorgeous.
B. Idris Elba he's the sweetest fucking gentle,
Oh.
light spoken man you'll ever meet in your life.
You could fall into those eyes. Oh.
He has skinny ass legs though. His
Yeah?
legs have no muscle mass. They're like this big around.
Did he skip leg
Swear
day?
to God, it's weird. His upper body is like, and his legs, there's nothing. His legs are skinnier than mine. They're literally like these little tiny pegs. It is
He's
the
like a
weirdest
bird.
shit. I'm not trying to talk down about him because he's a really nice guy, but for real, like people look different. When I met Regina King, she just walked up to the fucking thing. She had a jean jacket, a pair of jeans on, a purse over her shoulder, and like a t-shirt or casual shirt on. She was just chilling, and she was like, "Yeah, I gotta get the COVID test." And she goes, "Do you need my ID?" And I was like, "No, Miss King, I know exactly who you are." I said, "I got it." And she goes, "Oh, I don't mind." She was the coolest one out of all.
Did you
of
get a
them.
false positive?
She has been no. She never popped. Zazie Beetz did.
Oh, okay.
She popped false positive during the whole thing. She had to take like 3 days off and it delayed production, and they were pissed. But it happens, and we knew less then than what we know now too. This was like almost, this is like a year and 8 months ago kind of thing. So it's been a while. We've learned a lot about COVID since then. But my point is, to Ox, the only guy, female, don't care, person, actor on the entire set that was a dick is a fucking comedian. I can't remember his name. He's a black comedian, and they brought him on that set, and he is a complete fucking dickhead. The comedian. That was it. Nobody else was mean. Everybody else was nice. Jonathan, Wallace.
Jonathan's a very common first name. Don't look for help from us.
He was the star of the fucking movie, and I can't think of it right now.
Jonathan Travolta.
Anyways, if somebody wants to look up The Harder They Fall, that was the name of the movie.
Okay.
And I've actually watched it. It's really a good fucking movie. It's a great fucking Western. It's got a lot of fucking drama, a lot of fucking shooting shit, and it's really good. It's got some really good stories in it. But anyways,
I
met all these people,
tonight
they
is
were all
about
nice except for that comedian. So you can't say all actors are jerks. I mean, it's not. They're really not. And maybe it's because they were all black and they're fucking humble, but they were all really nice people. Okay, go ahead.
So real quick before we go back to trans topics, there's someone who I consider to be a Twitter celebrity. Her name is Ashley Winter, and she is a urologist on the Twitter, and she is also a comedian, and she's hilarious. I've shouted her out multiple times, but
I think I follow her now.
Yeah, no, she's so funny. She was posted a thing today about how the scrub tech in the OR had called the penis a wee. And so then she went on a whole rant about how we should stop stigmatizing like anatomically correct language
penis
for genitalia. And then the CRNA just started getting everyone to on 3, everyone's gonna say penis, and then they all like eventually started just chanting penis, and
then they were like, okay, we're normalizing it now.
That's a cultural issue. Man. With Western societies in general, and everybody's like, "Oh, you can't be teaching kids about gender and sex and all that." And it's like, yeah, and then they grow it up into people who can't say the word penis in a clinical
exactly.
sense.
See, vagina, penis, they are medical terms. It's allowed.
It's a part of your body, just like
labia,
your kidney. Like
clitoris, it's all, yeah. Or their body parts, folks. I mean, we laugh about it and joke around like we're 12-year-olds sometimes because we're like 12-year-olds sometimes. But, I mean, seriously, though, it's not.
And like sex education.
That's not the students' problem that they're going to find that stuff funny. That's the teachers needs to deal with that, teaching them to say those words and know those terms.
My mom was a nurse and a chemistry and science teacher and biology teacher and all this fucking shit. So she taught us all anatomical terms. That's why when I was 5 and I walked up to her and said I was mad, and she said, "What are you mad about?" I said, "Because I don't have a penis." I didn't use some other term because my mom was dead ass honest with us. So
all your brothers had penises and you were stuck.
When we were like
stuck
13, when I was like 13, somebody said penis, they'd go, "Hey!" All these people would laugh, and I'd go, "What? What are we laughing about?" That's the correct term. Like I didn't get it.
Yeah, it's like
So-
the clinical term. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that was
And that's how
interesting
we were raised.
for me, I was reviewing the developmental milestones for pediatrics because that's apparently very heavily tested. And something interesting that by I think like during elementary school age, like kind of between 6 and 9, you it's normal for kids to have friendships with people of the same sex, and it's not really until adolescence that they start being friends with people of the opposite sex usually. And it's
Yeah.
funny because when I was a kid, all my friends were guys.
Almost all my friends were guys too. Like literally the day I cussed out my dad when I was 12, Adam, Sid, James, I can't remember his two brothers' names. They were all 5 guys
Yeah,
that I
like
told off my
I would
dad
hang out with
for.
my
For,
I would
these
hang
are
out
my
with
friends. Fuck you.
I would hang out with these guys, and my like
Yeah.
I would like we'd go over to each other's houses like you do with any friend. And I guess like my family thought it was weird. Like it's just my friend. Like I'm just hanging out with my friend, and we're gonna go like as my friend had like this cool like a bunch of land in their backyard, and we would go like look for bugs and shit and like play with the rocks. Like that's
Looking for
not
bugs is
gendered.
fun.
It's not a
Yeah.
gendered activity either. That's just like everyone can go play with rocks. Like
You guys are so
Right.
lucky that you had people to play with when you were kids. I had a twin brother, but as far as like friends and like town, parents wouldn't let their kids play with us, and yeah, it was
Yeah.
and we got kind of a bad reputation, I guess. People would say that our family was witches and things like that. So yeah, we were
They
pretty.
just said my family's full of assholes. I had to
Yeah.
follow all my brothers through school. You know what that was like?
Yeah.
Every time I walked into a new classroom, new year, they'd go, "Oh, another Madsen." Fuck, man. My entire life, every class I would, "Oh, it's another Madsen."
Is
I'm
Richard
the
the
last
oldest?
one, asshole. So leave me alone.
Is Richard the oldest?
No, Richard's almost the young. He's right above me. So Richard's 3 years older than me, and then 1 year in front of him is Keel, 2 years Walt, 2 years Susan, Wendy, and then Bruce, all year apart.
Oh wow.
So my mom had 7 kids in 11 years.
Those early breeding years, huh?
She
You
was
just-
she was Italian and Catholic.
You stay pregnant when through your 20s.
Also, we didn't know when we were kids 2 things. One, she was a twin, and her twin brother died at birth. He was stillborn.
Mhm.
Well, he didn't die at birth. He was stillborn. So he died previous to that, and they just didn't know anything in 1942 to figure out that there's something wrong with the other baby. You know, you get one heartbeat, you're like, okay, I got a heartbeat. You know, probably didn't even know there was twins at that point. I don't know. So 1, that, and then 2, she gave my oldest brother Bruce up for adoption. She was pregnant for him when she was 17, and her mom forced her to go to a wayward home for girls and give him up for adoption. So she was trying to replace them. She had 6 of us. It's insane.
Do you
And
ever
still
come
to
back?
this day, my brother Bruce looks more like my mom than anybody else in the family. The one that
Yeah.
didn't grow up with us. He acts like her, thinks like her, same hobbies, same loves, same body build, same hair color. The only thing that's different is their nose. He's got a wider nose, almost like a mulatto person would. You know,
Look at my stupid big nose.
kind of like wider than a white person's, but not as wide as a black person's, kind of thing, like in the middle there, maybe like a Hispanic looking nose. But my mom has like the Italian, like eagle beak nose.
We're all
So he
loving
didn't
the
get her
hair growing
nose,
back.
but everything about him is her. He everything about him, his heart, his mind, he is totally her, more than the rest of us. And we were like, that's so weird. You never met her. It's genetics, baby. He never met her, and he is exactly like her. Cooks like her, everything. Music, piano, singing. Just like mom. Strange thing. But anyways, that was off topic.
No, you're
So,
fine.
the topic of the night is trans visibility.
Pixie.
So, for the people in the audience who aren't trans, what does visibility mean for our community, and why is it something that we are so intent on communicating?
we need a public voice. Public voice gives you the power to legislate, to make to bring public notice to issues that your community deals with, to unite the people in the community so they can find each other. There's so many factors that
That's my
visibility
thing.
contribute to that. And I'm just happy to now kind of be visible because my hair and stuff just now long enough that I can put my makeup on and not
It
look
looks
like
good.
wearing makeup.
You look really good. Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be, able to raise my voice a little bit. I've been trying to be, I'm still uncomfortable a bit in public.
Yeah, that's okay. You'll get over it.
But for
You already
me,
have a pretty high voice.
yeah. But
Yeah.
for me, it's making sure that I stand up and make a good example to say, I'm going to be me and make the world face me as me. I try to give that example for my children because I spent, I spent all that time of my youth trying to be something that I wasn't, and I want them to be able to, whatever they are, whoever they feel like being, to know that you can just do that and own it because it's going to come back. You can't deny yourself for all eternity. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is my first thought on it, and I've said this before, only like 1 or 2 times. So let's say you're the typical white person, and you grew up in a community that's pretty much just like white people and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you learn. And same thing with like black people that grew up in black communities or Hispanics that grew up in Hispanic communities. It happens like that. You get used to that person. They're like you, you get each other. You have the same culture. You literally speak the same language. You have that connection with that kind of person. So if somebody comes up to you, let's say you're, I don't care, Hispanic, and some white guy comes up to you and goes, "Hey, I'm trans. And it's great. And I want to talk to you about it." You're going to be like, "What the fuck, dude? Are you going to like listen to that guy and believe that guy?" Probably not. People respond better to people who are like them. It's just the way it is. It's just being human. So if you have a cishet white person and he says to the other cishet white guys that he hangs out with, there's nothing wrong with trans people. They're going to go, "What? What do you say that?" And he's going to say, "Well, because they're going to listen to him. That's their friend. They know that guy. They relate to that guy." Point is, we can walk around and talk about it all we want. Most important thing for us, just like it was, it is with anybody that's black, like during BLM and up to now. And by the way, that shit hasn't stopped. So let's all pay attention to that. Damn, I made myself lose my train of thought. Hold on 1 second. Oh, it's very important for people that aren't in the category to stand up and make this normal. Us doing it, we're never going to do it. We can't do it without you guys. We literally need cishet people who walk around and hang out with other hetero people, cis people, to say, "Hey, you know what? They're really not that bad. I have friends on YouTube. They're amazing people." Whatever. You can say Beck's an asshole sometimes, but the other ones are great. I'm fine with that. But the important thing, it's word of mouth. Word of mouth is the best sales tool. And people listen to their friends, and they listen to people they grew up with, and they listen to people they work with, and they listen to people who they can relate to who are like them. They're never going to relate to us without you guys starting that conversation. Very, very important.
It's scary to some people. So yeah, that's surprising to me. People can put their hand over their kid when they see me coming. I'm not anything threatening.
Something that has been told to me by my family. This is with regard to my gender, also with regard to my sexuality. But basically, why can't you just keep it to yourself? Why do you need to be making other people hear about all this? Well, if you were to say something like that to a cishet person, just keep your gender to yourself and just keep your sexuality to yourself.
Yeah,
I don't think they understand what they're asking us to do. They're asking you to dress in a way that you don't want to. They're asking you to speak in a way you don't want to. They're asking
Yep.
you to just never tell anybody about the relationship you're in. Never invite people to a ceremony that you're not allowed to have, because that's icky. You don't get to celebrate your relationship. You don't even get to talk about your relationship. Like, I don't think they understand what they're asking us to do in keeping it to ourselves. And these are people who, at least the ones I'm talking about specifically, my family, are ones that will get mad at you for not letting them force people to pray in school. So, like, they're even beyond the point of, like, I'm keeping my religion to myself. Like, no, they're in points where they want other people to practice their religion. It's like, how about you keep your religion to yourself, which is something that you can keep to yourself. You're gonna get mad when you can't tell other people to do what you want, and then you're gonna tell me that, like, oh, it's just so easy to just not even be myself to myself.
Yeah, it's okay to not be true to yourself. No, fuck that. Yeah, people, I don't know. Society is just so fucked up. And I still will I will die on this hill. I will die on the hill that 70% of the fucking problems we have in society are due to religion. I'm dying on that hill. I don't give a fuck. Nobody can convince me any different. That number might even be higher. I'm being generous. I made it a little lower. I feel like it's about 80%, honestly. Look at everything that's wrong. You look at all the problems we have. You know, even racism, most of that shit, that started out based in fucking religion too. Everything's just fucking religion. It's all fucked up because of religion.
So here's something that I'm thinking about with that.
Banned. Yeah, how many, you know what I want to know? This is what I want to know. How many people have died because of religion? I want that number.
Too many.
And then I want to compare it to people who have died in wars. I guarantee you, people that dying from about religion, whether it was the Crusades or whatever, is way higher than any other deaths we've had, including wars. I guarantee fucking.
Well, you got some of those wars are holy wars too, though. So you got to keep that in mind.
Well, I'm counting those in with, honestly. I mean the ones that aren't like World War II.
How many wars aren't holy wars, really, though? When it comes down
really,
to it,
what's going on right now? What's been going on in Afghanistan and everything? That shit's all holy. It's all fucking about religion.
I don't know about World War I.
People are getting killed for their fucking religion.
I don't know about World War I, but World War II, the Catholics had the Catholic Church had some investment in the access up until the end, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to distance ourselves."
Here's what I think.
Yeah, now. Here's what I think. Right, I forgot about that.
Like the whole thing about religious people wanting to go back to the morality argument and say, well, atheists don't have a moral foundation for the things that they believe. Like, I don't think that you're actually using this moral foundation to be a good person. Like, you're using your moral foundation as a scapegoat so you can blame somebody else for your bigotry. Like, you don't want to take responsibility for the fact that you hate people. But if your God tells you that you're supposed to hate these people, then you don't feel bad for hating them. You don't feel bad about taking things away from
God said
them.
it. It's fine.
Like, God said it. Like, no, like you have an objective morality to be an asshole.
You know, but
and that's why you're using it.
Hold on, Ben. If you look at the parts of the Bible, when you look at what Jesus said about homosexuality and transgender people, you'll find absolutely fucking nothing, because he never talked about that.
Yeah,
so
he never
said that being part of the religion.
I know that. In the book of Thomas, there is a part where they say we should bring her. Or no, he says, Jesus says to disciples or someone, let's bring her with us. And they say, we can't. She's female. And he said, then make her male. We were bringing her with us to heaven. Oh, but we don't count that part of the Bible. We don't count that part. That part doesn't count.
That's actually
the fact that he's trying to make a woman into a man.
Well, I'll get back on camera in a minute. I'm just
but that doesn't count. Yeah, I love that one. It's like 11. It's under if you look up the big sayings of Jesus, it's in there, and it's under Thomas something like 11 or 41 or I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Apocrypha and stuff were a big turning point for me with deconversion, because I had so many questions about like why we didn't accept certain texts into the Bible, and I never got good answers about why we picked the ones we did and why we didn't. And literally, like, finding out that it was just some meeting where some dudes voted on which ones they liked and which ones they didn't.
Yes.
Like, Like that.
Yeah, they
how did
decided
how
whatever
did they
appeal.
determine this though?
And that's
It's
why
what
when
they
you look,
appealed to them and their agenda. That's all it was about.
that's why
That's
when
why
you,
I'm like, how do you fucking even read that shit and believe it, man?
that's why
It's
when
been
you look
twisted.
at Christian churches that were split off before Nicaea, like the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, they still keep books. They still keep like Enoch is still part of their Bible, which is awesome in my opinion. But because they split off before that and then were isolated because the fall of which Egyptian, I don't remember which Egyptian dynasty it was off the top of my head, but the fall of the dynasty caused it so that they lost contact with the rest of the Christian world until like the 1700s or something like that. So they were isolated and kept all these weird. They went to their churches and looked at their scripture and were like, what are all these added books to the holy text here? And that's also the church that claims to have the Ark of the Covenant, by the way.
Interesting.
Sorry, and I'm going totally off topic talking about.
Yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Like we'll never crawl back out of it, sunshine. We'll be down there all fucking night.
That's something I'll talk about on my show. And speaking
I do have one tiny off-topic thing that I wanted to tell Brainbug.
What's that?
I saw a grasshopper on my car this morning, and I thought of you. That's it.
Anytime I see a cool bug, anything that looks cool, I go, like the tarantula thing. The tarantula. Ben missed all that. That was before he was around. With
there's
us
a cool
bug
that Brainbug does need to see that I don't know if they saw yet in my Discord.
Oh,
but
what I was going to say about that, Bree, was I actually asked my brother about this because we were talking after I moved here, and I said, I'm a little offended by you, worshiping this God of yours, and he's like, why is that? And I said, what happens to all the gay and trans people when heaven comes? He said, if you want to go, you go. And I said, excuse me? It's not what I've been told my whole life. And he said, the Bible doesn't say anything about you can't be trans or gay. It doesn't say that. That's not what it means. So we went over the whole thing and talked about it because I said, I'm offended if you're okay with a God who wants to fucking throw me into hell. Like, I'm not okay with that. And he's like, that's not even a thing. He said, everybody will go. I said, everybody. He said, yeah. I said, thieves? He's like, yeah. Rapists, murderers? He said, yeah, everybody can go. And I said, how is that okay with God? And he said, because the point is this is all for us to learn lessons. So we are empathetic and we understand other beings and other people. So these are all just, it's a big lesson is what he's saying. But anyways, I thought it was interesting that he said, that it doesn't matter if you're it doesn't matter how you identify. It has nothing to do with the price of rice in China.
Here you go, Brainbug. Here you go.
Go ahead.
Here you go.
Also, why would I not want to do a digital? I think
it's got a knife.
What the hell?
It's a spider Furby.
Oh my God! It was a spider Furby
with a knife. With a knife.
With a fucking knife.
I may do an additional segment on the long Furby at some point. Someone was asking if I do it for April Fool's Day, but I was thinking it'd be something better for like a Halloween kind of thing.
As a cis white man, I need to say thank you all for your voice. Thank you for listening.
No, we need your voice, Kyle. Your voice is so much more powerful than ours because people don't listen to us. They look at me and they're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
They look at that weirdo, and I am weird. I not because I'm trans, but because I, play with the bugs and stuff.
Yeah. You are bug weird, but you're a good guy weird. He said it shows me how to break the toxic views of others I'm forced to be around in my life. I'm happy to be with you all. We love that you're here every time, Kyle.
We love you,
you're
Kyle.
An amazing guy.
Oh,
Kyle had
a really fun typo again today. We were in a private chat, and I think Kyle's okay with me sharing this because it was really funny.
Thank you, Carol.
So we were talking about sea shanties, and Kyle was meaning to say something about Assassin's Creed 4, and it accidentally came out in the text as Assassin's Cheese 4.
Oh no, I can see where that went really quickly.
So no, that is canon. Assassin's Cheese is now a thing.
Too funny, man. Too funny. No, but it really is important. The biggest allies we have out there for normalizing this is all the cishet people. You guys or even other gay people can't do it because cishet people relate to cishet people. And that's just how it is. So the people that are prejudiced or unknowing and therefore prejudiced due to lack of knowledge, they need that knowledge. And you guys are the ones that spread it. We can't do it. I mean, I pass. I'm lucky. I'm stealth. And people don't know, you know, unless they realize, oh, wait a minute. Didn't you used to go by B? Why is your voice so deep? And then I just fucking tell them, well, I'm transitioning. I've been on testosterone. They're like, oh, good for you. Okay, cool. But, you know, I'm lucky that I can just say that and I don't have to hide it. Not everybody has that world. I'm very, very fucking lucky. So one of the reasons I
are you going to grow a beard?
We're trying.
Yeah, I'm actually
both trying.
Check this out, man. Hold on.
I want to give you guys my beard so bad. I hate it, and I want it to go away. And I want you.
Give it to
I
me.
wish.
Want
I
it.
truly wish you could. Oh, it's all caught up.
It takes forever to grow hair on T. Like, it takes forever. So you're getting some.
This is good. Well, my lighting's so bad you guys can't see it.
And
You can
make
see it a
sure when
little
you
bit.
see that soft stuff coming up, you shave it so that it grows in with the thicker, fuller, more masculine.
I already did
Yeah,
shave
so it's
it, and it's
blunt.
coming in thicker already.
Yeah, I
And
had
everybody
shaved
told
mine
me
recently.
it wouldn't come in thicker and it wouldn't come in darker, but you know what? It's coming in thicker and darker. So kiss my ass.
Well, it
Everybody's
does
like,
because
well,
you're
it'll-
blunting it. So
Yeah,
it doesn't
I mean-
increase the amount of hair you have, but for cosmesis, it does look different, which is what matters. So
Now my lip, that did not do anything. When I shaved my lip, it's still coming in blonde. I'm
you
just
have
fucked
mine-
on
You
that.
have my lip.
see,
I have
my
so
lips
much
coming
hair
in
on my lip.
more than my. I'm not getting the
Yeah, that's
chin,
not
but
a
I'm getting
shadow.
the mustache. But that's
Yeah.
consistent with my family, though. Like the guys in my family can grow really nice mustaches, but beards aren't really a thing in my family.
Oh, my
So.
family are full of beards. Well, you guys know that.
I
Yeah,
got
my
Everybody-
family's really not.
All the guys in my family, except for my brother Keel, who has a handlebar with a goatee, which I honestly think will look awesome on me. But anyways, we have the
Yes.
same kind of face, so I know it'll look good on me. But all my other brothers have full ass beards. Like Bruce and Walt have beards like this. Richard's the only
dude-
one that lets it grow and doesn't trim it.
Dude, let me tell you something right now. When we were like 14 or whatever as boys, some of the boys would use would they take the brown eyeshadow and
Mhm.
thicken their stuff up a little bit when we'd go like out on the town to try to get out drinking and stuff, so that they looked older.
They had a dream about Ben having a long beard on his chin, but it looked terrible because it was a beard that needed to go with a mustache.
Yeah,
He
see,
only had a beard.
See, it's fun because I mean, we each have things that go better for us with hormone transition, and then other things that don't go as well. And while I don't have a whole lot of hair coming in, at least on my face, like my voice, it's doing really, really well for not being that long on T. And I know people that whose
right?
voices will never drop as much as mine has, and it's still dropping.
Your guys' voices are
that's
super
what's going on with me.
low. You're both
the
your
fact
voices are
that-
lower than mine now. I mean, I have always had a high voice for a biological male, but
Yeah.
but
Like
still,
I'm singing bass at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well, you
there are
know,
lots of people that don't drop that far.
I was lucky because my voice was already deep for someone born female, so it didn't take much for my voice to. I mean, I can go down really low now, like this, and talk like this all day. And this is pretty much how I answer the phone at work. Thank you for calling Full Circle Healing. This is Beck. How can I help you today?
say
I had to quit saying how can I help you today because Beck and how went in together, and people thought I was saying Becca. And I'm like, with this voice, are you serious right now? Anyways,
I
like
still have to
playing
be
with it. It's
because the stuff I do is like through government stuff, so I still have to be Brian McCune when I talk to people. But I always introduce myself to people I talk to as Bree when I'm on the phone because that's the best. That's the best place because I can be completely and utterly female over the phone. And the people just go with it that I talk to. They don't ever question it because I talk like this, and it's very,
Thanks,
and then, but then when people are that are working in the system see my name and someone's talking about Bree, that they talk to Bree about this or Bree about that, they don't know who it is. But they're instead, they'll insist that their shirt was a woman, and it says Brian on the account.
No, I worked hard for that. I worked
He's
hard
like,
for that
no,
shit.
bro,
I'm not
you
giving
keep the
that
beard.
up.
I'll grow it slow. I don't care.
No, but people think that I'm transitioning the other way.
Man.
I think
Isn't
people
that
hear
really
my
funny?
voice.
Think
People hear
everybody's
my
like, oh,
voice.
you're trying to be a girl?
They think I'm transitioning the other way. I know.
Ben's like, nah, man. But thank
But
you.
that's fine. You can think that.
Yeah, you can think
Yeah.
I'm
Because that means I'm
fucking
male in your
normally
mind.
guy.
So
Right, exactly. I
Right.
love
That means
it,
you have
man.
yeah. Because that's what people are going to associate immediately is that if you're transitioning, and then people always assume that when you say somebody's transgender that they're trans man. Now, and it's kind of actually a nifty situation that I'm here, and there's two trans men, and then people never assume that I'm a trans man. They always know that I'm a trans woman, and it's crazy to hear that you get that too, because we have almost the same. Our voices are very close in tenor right now, but yours is dropping down, and hopefully mine's going up. But we'll see how that works out.
it's super funny. I was gonna say something about that too, with people thinking you're the opposite. I don't know. It'll come back to me. Laura, we should send Laura an invite too.
Hi, Laura.
Because Laura was on Phoebe's
I don't
show
even
not
remember
too
where
long
Laura
ago.
was at in my Twitter. Hold on.
We're inviting all trans people in for
me see if I
Trans
can
Week
find
of
her.
Visibility.
Oh crap! What's your Twitter handle? So I can look for you.
Laura something.
I know I can't.
I just know the flowers similar.
Do I know
think.
Laura?
I don't personally know Laura. I just know that Laura was on Phoebe's show.
Is it the powered by one? Now being Laura, that's it. Oh, what the hell? Just keep saying something went wrong. I don't know what the hell went wrong. Yeah, I just tried to go onto your page and it won't let me do anything. Here, look me up instead.
I don't remember what I was going to say. It was something.
Go ahead and look me up on there, and then I don't know, it might have a dash in it.
I'm
Hold on.
sure it was
Crap.
brilliant, Ben. I'm sure it was.
Well, something a little off topic though. I did. My hair is a shade darker, but you can't tell in this light. It's easier to tell in person. But
Just
it
like
finally
that one, Laura.
matches my eyebrows.
And then message me.
If you can tell now, it matches my eyebrows. It didn't used to do that.
What?
My hair didn't. It's weird because my hair before did not match my eyebrows. It was lighter than my eyebrows. But I got my hair is a shade darker now, and it does match my eyebrows.
Oh, cool.
I might go darker in the future, but like I wanted to ease into it because the problem is with me being so pale. If I go too dark, then I look.
You're gonna look like a ghost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So I can't.
Same, brother. Same.
So I'm taking it slow, so I might go another step down next time.
Ollie said, have you guys seen the new MasterCard commercial? They are advertising the new True Name card that lets you choose your gender and name.
I mean, that should be standard. It should be standard.
Why would that ever not be the standard, right? I guess
right?
it's always been
That's the
having to
bare
match
minimum.
your social security numbers or the information on your social security number. Or
Yeah,
something
right.
Like that. Yeah.
Right.
When we went to get our new scheduling software that we have now that we use, well, it's on the cloud. But anyways, when we went to use this, Heather said, I want on there what gender you identify as, sexuality, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want all that on there so we know how to identify with that person. She said, I don't want any of this because the other charting system didn't have it. So this new one does.
Here you go,
So when I went in to change my name, thank you. When I went in to change my name, what the hell? Oh, hold on. My Wi-Fi was off on my phone. That'll do it every time.
That would be why you can't do anything.
Hey, did you know I'm live on Twitch?
Whoa. What is this?
Just got the notification. There you are. Hold on.
Man,
Okay,
everybody's
one
talking about
second,
that
Laura.
slap today. Looking through my feed. Everybody.
Everyone loves your hair today as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I know. I love
mean,
that
it's
everybody's loving my
gorgeous.
There you
look.
go, sunshine.
I did a little bit of makeup too, just because I was gonna be at the hospital today. Just nobody freak out or anything.
Doing
Just some
pharmacy
stuff that was
stuffs?
going on. No, for personal
Oh,
stuff.
personal stuff.
Yeah, don't worry about it, me or anything.
I
but
need to call my family the next time I'm working in a hospital. Be like, I'm in the hospital.
Oh,
You're in
Yeah,
the
well,
hospital. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm in
I'm
the
working,
ICU right
sorry.
now. Yeah, no, I'm working. I just thought I'd say hi. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
I would do that if my family, if there wasn't so much tension with my family right now.
Dude, that is funny though.
No, but
is
there's so much tension with
hilarious.
my family right now
I know, it
after
would not be-
Atheist Day,
I got it.
especially. Like,
Don't click it. I got
yeah.
it. There we go. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
hi,
Hi,
Laura.
how are you doing?
Hi, Laura.
Hello. How are you?
Not too bad.
Oh God,
had
I
a
say
nice
that like Heather now.
Had a lazy day today.
Just got myself doing it.
So you were on Phoebe's. Did I miss that? I think I must have missed that one, or maybe I was working. I don't know.
Yeah, it was Saturday night. I was on Phoebe's channel.
Okay, well, it's good to meet you. I'm Bree.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bree, Laura.
You need
Bree.
a name that starts with B, Laura. You're missing the memo.
Yeah, you're missing the beat here.
She can be Blora.
Laura.
Change it to being Laura, like on your
You're
Twitter.
Laura.
Well, I am now being Laura, so
You're there you go. Being Laura.
That
That's a B.
works. So we got being, and then yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. The bee show. Bzz.
Oh, okay. I got a cat.
Oh,
That
kitty.
just happened.
Somebody wanted
Oh,
some love.
Bree. I have a
Yeah, she's
beer.
a sweetheart. She's a
Well,
good
I don't know
girl.
if I have any more left, but I had a beer called Bat Squatch.
Bat Squatch.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool. Is it like a microbrewery?
It's from Rogue.
Rogue.
Yeah. It's called Bat Squatch. I just like the picture on it.
Yeah, I buy beer for the boxes and for the pictures all the time.
Oh yeah, for the name. I have one called Morning Sex, and I bought it because it's called Morning Sex.
Yeah, I like a good. I mean, I do like a good.
Don't talk
good
about
skunky
that.
beer.
I miss morning sex. Oh, it was.
Hey,
So
I've been
good.
single for a while,
It was so good.
but it's okay. You can always have morning sex with yourself.
Oh,
no
it's
shame
not
here.
the same, bro. You don't know.
No, I
think-
don't,
don't
because I haven't had
know.
a partner to do that with.
Oh,
I think one of the coolest.
I'm
beer
the
names-
only idiot trans guy who finds the one woman in the world that doesn't see me as anything but a man, and then it gets fucked up. Like, I am the luckiest motherfucker in the world. Fuck me. Good.
I think one of the best beer names I've come across was Monty Python's Holy Ale.
I've had that one.
Ale?
I've had that one.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Ben's drank that on stream.
I've had
man.
that. Yep.
I don't know if it's any good, but
Good night,
I mean,
Krabby.
it's a pretty standard ale. Like, it's nothing special, but the can's special.
yeah, and it's
But
also
I
something
like I like simple beers though. Like you can never go wrong with something pretty simple.
Yeah, I think one of the tagline at the bottom was brewed over, tempered over burning witches.
Yes. Yeah, no,
It's
sometimes
Um,
if they get too crazy and too creative, it doesn't work. But like, I will always go to something simple.
Yeah,
I
the only
will say,
problem
Ollie-
is that John Cleese has turned out to be a complete arse.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I
And,
know, right? I
um,
didn't see that coming.
Yeah, do you
It
know
was-
what it is? I'll tell you exactly what it is. Back in the 60s, when he was making that show and lots of other bits and bobs in between, he wasn't the establishment. And now he is the establishment, and things have changed. He's now pushing against the new people who are not the establishment.
Oh,
And so he likes to sort of throw away, a woke culture. And that
sucked
phrase
it in that
always
dollar, didn't he?
that phrase always makes me chuckle because, what's the opposite of woke? Being asleep,
Mhm.
and it's like, well, what would you rather be? Awake or asleep. And being woke
In a
really
coma.
is what's people, it basically realizing shit, there's an inequity around. Hey, maybe we should address that. Well, that's the reason why we don't have slavery now and other things.
Mhm.
So, poor people can vote of all things.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a period in history that I'd ever want to go back to.
Yeah.
Oh, I can think of a whole bunch. The Carboniferous, the
Okay, fine. With humans.
Oh.
With humans.
okay.
Yeah, I think if there was a time machine, I'd rather go forwards
love
than
you,
back,
Bree.
even
man,
if I look like an idiot.
I am so disappointed by the fact that like I didn't do any pediatrics today or not the rest of this week, just so I don't get to communicate what my first, second, and third favorite dinosaurs are. I prepared that for this week. But it's okay, because you know what? A week off is fine. I don't mind. I'm not complaining.
So I want to say, Ollie, that since we're talking about names on cards, I went down to my bank and my information is already changed on my bank card. I'm waiting for my
you
new driver's
legally
license
changed
to
your
come in
name.
the mail. And yeah.
But for people whose names are not legally changed, this is
Right.
where it would matter.
Well, yeah, no, it's great.
And not everyone has the opportunity to legally change their name.
I was just saying, I was sharing my happiness with everybody about what I've got to do. I'm waiting on the Social Security Administration to change my Social Security card, and then after that, I can, get the rest of that shit done.
I filed my taxes under my new name.
Oh yeah.
But the Army paid me more this year than they did last year, so I actually I get like a $20 refund.
Oh really? I'm getting like $1,400.
Like this is the first time where I've
Not much.
actually owed a significant amount of money. But it's
I didn't
because
make shit last year, so
it's because I'm getting a stipend from the military for med school, and so I'm actually making an income while going to school. So that's why. But and I'm making money from Twitch now, so I have to like file that too.
Oh, you got your Twitch account monetized. That's awesome. So
yeah,
I'm so
I
happy
did
for
this
you.
past year, so it's pretty great. But it's my Twitch is a shit show, but I love it. Oh, so Kenneth came by for trivia this past week, and I think we broke him. It's fine.
what are you playing with there?
Huh? It's a mantis and a hornworm. When I got these hornworms, the goal had been
Look at the little baby.
Had been to feed them to the mantises, but I fed them when I first I got them when they're little bitty. These guys, they're little bitty when I first got them, and they mantises ate them up. It was great, and then 2 days later, when I was trying to feed them again, they were not this big, but they were about twice as long, way too big for the mantises to eat. And now they're this huge.
Wow.
Damn.
Like 20 of them. And
if nothing else, you know you can grow worms.
They grow fast. Yeah, I think about breeding them. And
you could eat the worms.
Yeah. Look at him. The mantis is standing on the worm.
It's like the worm from the... Well, I mean, I think the one from Lion King wasn't blue. Was it blue? No, they did have a blue one. Yeah, the one that Simba eats a blue worm in
the grub
in Lion King.
Yeah, he's like,
you could.
Yeah,
you could replicate that scene.
Yeah, I could eat this guy. Let me get right here on camera.
No, because then you'll kill it. I mean, if you want to.
Wrong scene. I was doing that scene. My bad.
Is Bray gonna eat a bug on camera?
Oh man, I should have thought this through and got like a gummy worm or something, put it down here.
You should have.
Switched it out.
No, we do need to eat we do need to eat bugs on stream, but like cooked ones.
I have a whole
yeah, we'll do it. You, me, and Neil, because Neil had said he wanted to do that.
I tried to make Manda do it too, but I don't know if she's down for it or not.
My issue will be I just have to get some that don't cost a fortune.
You know, a little short while ago, you were talking about changing your name and documents in your name and stuff like that. It's another one of those weird things where in the UK, getting hormones really hard in the UK. Changing your name done in a day.
I know, right?
You know,
It's so
basically.
weird. I can get
not only
hormones in a
that,
day, but I can't change my name right away. It takes
I
months.
didn't even have to consult a lawyer, let alone petition a judge.
Oh, I
Hey,
didn't
could
have to
both of our
consult with a
countries
lawyer,
stop
but
being shit?
I did have to pay for a judge for the
Yeah,
judge's time.
don't have
It was
to. Literally,
$132 for the state on their
Yeah.
end.
So there's
And then,
something
well,
called.
and then 20 something, 27 to the county, and then
But it
it
depends
was
on
only
the
like
it depends on the
$8 for my
state.
driver's license.
It depends on
Yeah,
the state
no, it
because I
does
paid about
depend on the state, but
$400.
but all in, I'm already up to like $300.
Wow.
Yeah, just the filing for me was about $400.
Wow.
Well, but you didn't have to put it in a paper and everything. That's where mine made up for it.
No,
yeah,
but
I think the extra expense,
$119 to put in a goddamn paper for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think the extra expense for me was either that I printed out 5 copies, not just one. So in the UK,
They charged
I
me
made the
50
document.
cents a copy, I think.
Yeah, it would
No,
be like,
$1.25 a copy, but it was certified, stamped, and everything, so I could use them anywhere. And I got 6 of them.
Okay, so there's 2 ways you can do it in the UK. Number one is you can do it through this really stupid system where they process it for you, and then they put an advert in the London Gazette saying this person has changed their name, and it costs about £30, I think it is. I can't remember now. Or you can just make your own, and they even tell you on the government website what wording to use. And so it's new name and replacing my old name, and will forever use my new name as, for writs and deeds and basically representing who you are, or presenting yourself as who you are. And and then you sign your new name, you sign away your old name, and then you get a couple of friends to witness it, and there you go. And
my state luckily doesn't require you to publish. And that's recent because Colorado is super, super trans friendly. But because the reason is like it can be dangerous
because they're all high, they don't care.
Yeah. No, it can be dangerous to have to publish your name. You're outing yourself to the entire community.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So they did away with that, and they also did away with trans people not having to have a hearing to change your name. You submit the paperwork. They call you up if it went through. You pick up the papers. So it's like they made it super trans friendly in Colorado. But I wish other states would do that too. But yeah, it's probably because we're like mostly super liberal of a state.
I do have to say though,
I have a nasty feeling that this might be changing in the UK because unfortunately all the TERF nonsense and the whole, if you let people self-ID, because this is a form of self-ID, I'm declaring who I am as a legal document. Right. If you're allowed people to do that, well, they can just do it on a whim. Nobody does it on a whim.
Yeah. I mean, you could, but so what? What if they wanted to change your name on a whim? Like that's you.
Better that people. It's better that people be able to change it on a whim than people not be able to change it when they want to.
Yeah. But also there have been problems with criminals changing their name to avoid, sort of their name being,
Well, yeah, but that's a case where, like in my state, it's if you're trans, you don't have to publish, but any other reason you do. So it's not like other people are going to be able to. You have to actually be trans to not have to do that.
Yeah. But so on the 24th of February in 2019, I changed my name. And on the 25th, I went to town and I went to the council and the bank and, doctors, everything, and just changed, and generally they just changed it straight away, or they went and took my copy and scanned it and put it in the records and changed it then in that way as well. So it was very easy.
Just made me think of I had got a hold of my insurance company and I emailed the document to them and everything, and I was waiting for a response back that it had been changed. So while we were talking about it, I was like, I should check that. So I went to the online thing and I just downloaded my new insurance card with my new name on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Little goals. Well, you know, when I go back to get my license, because they did not give me my CDL back because I haven't done a DOT physical in over 2 years, and I'll just get one every 2 years. So I forgot to do it, and then they told me, well, we yanked your CDL. So I was like, fuck it. So I go in to change my name, and the guy goes, no, you can get it back, but you got to do these things. So I got to get the Social Security card in my name, so I'm waiting on that. And then I have to have 2 forms of identification with my new name, with my, you know, address and everything on it, to proof of address.
Yeah, my
So
only
I needed that insurance card.
Yeah, the only difficult one I had, or I've had, because it still isn't sorted, is PayPal. PayPal has refused to change my name.
Oh my
PayPal
God, I got to do all that.
And the reason
the
reason is simple, is that you need to supply one of 3 forms of picture ID. So a passport, well, I don't have, a driver's license, I don't drive. A passport, well, mine became invalid as soon as I changed my name. Or a state ID card, which literally doesn't exist in the UK.
That's one of the options, though. That makes sense.
Yeah, so basically they've assumed that everybody's like America, and that, well, yeah, everyone's got a state ID card, so, you know, but no.
That's basically all I have right now. I won't get my
Yes.
real ID back until I get my CDL sorted out.
Yeah, so it cost me £75, roughly about $110 to get a new passport in order to change PayPal.
PayPal's so dumb.
Wow. That's insane.
And I have agoraphobia, so I don't really go anywhere, let alone go overseas.
So now I have a passport. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, that's sort
Just
of true.
change
I've been to
PayPal.
America several times. I went in 2019, actually, because my friend died. And actually, when I changed my name, my middle name is her first name, Jade, which was lovely.
Good night, Krabby. Krabby said, good night,
Bye,
Ben
Krabby.
and Bree and Laura.
Bye.
Keep up the support, chat. You're all awesome. Yes, they are all awesome. I love my group of fucking amazing people. We are lucky.
By the way, I'd have my camera on, but I look awful right now, so I won't.
So do I. It's okay.
Yeah, problem is
just my work shirt.
I'm looking better than I have in months right now, so I'm into it right now. I'm loving the camera at the moment.
Yeah, no.
He's like, I'm sporting it good. That's all right, Bree.
You look like a man, B, and I'm trying not to.
Oh, right. Check on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. I am very lucky. I pass very easily.
I hear you, sister. Yeah.
By the way, Bree, did you recognize my user, my avatar? And I think now powered by HRT on Twitter. I'm sure you said powered by, and I'm thinking, you know, you might know me on Twitter.
When we were talking about her Twitter username, and I was trying to find her.
Oh,
I don't know if it was you or Ben that said that. I thought Ben said it.
I think Ben said it.
I thought I did. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
so.
Maybe I missed it.
But I am there on Twitter if you want to scroll up here and send you or follow you, and you can follow me if you'd like to.
Yeah.
If you like, I don't always post about bugs, but I do post a lot about bugs. So if you do have like arachnophobia, I just like to warn people about that because there will be spiders appearing in my feed.
But there's a lot of different stuff that Bree talks about. All the bugs. All the
bugs.
Drop it in the side chat.
I need to do a collab with Brain Bug about microscopic bugs.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh my gosh! I just had one of my slides from Hive Science last week was the little tiny wasp next to the big giant bacteria.
Yeah.
That image, that the micro image, really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to collab on that.
Yeah, well, we sent you that that semen retention thing the other day.
Oh
Thanks,
yeah, we have,
Tubian.
Are you really going to talk about that?
I don't know. Maybe if
Yeah.
did you want to do a medical myths on it?
Is it a medical myth? I think it is.
I don't. Yeah, I think
Maybe-
so.
Because what you're supposed to do is like not the guy's not supposed to finish or whatever. His body's supposed to reabsorb it. I think is the way it works.
Yeah, that's how you get rid of semen that can't get out. It just gets reabsorbed.
Reabsorbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a YouTube channel, Mage Grey Wolf. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Literally look it up just like that. Brain bug.
Yeah. Well,
And you will
So
know
this
when you
week
see
on
it.
medical myths, we're going to talk about psychiatric naturopathy with Arden, and it's going to be great. So,
Arden. Oh,
Yeah.
I love Arden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna
Arden's
talk
great.
about there's a few articles that are sketchy as fuck, about brain imaging and that this person is scamming people out of money, saying that this
Brie.
imaging can diagnose your mental health issues.
Brie,
What the hell just happened?
don't matter. I was about to ask that question.
What happened?
I was literally just about to ask because I typed in brain bug and I got a few things, and I saw Creepy Crawly 8, and I went, you know,
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw follows you, so I assumed, you know,
Yeah,
that's
bugs and cryptids
Yeah,
There
I
it
do talk
is.
about that. And creationist.
and creationists.
Love some creationist.
Yeah.
I'm a mixed bag, Laura.
I think one of my favorite creationist things is how
There you go, everybody.
I forgot what the term was now, but it was the whole Kitzmiller versus Dover thing, and it was ID proponentists or something, because they just changed them, you know, they just changed creationist to, so it was like proponent. I forgot what it was now, you know, but
Is it intelligent design proponent?
yeah, that's right. It was like you know, it was intelligent design proponentists.
Yeah, they try
yeah.
to
They just cut and
sugarcoat
cut and pasted it wrong.
it.
Good night,
The
Ollie.
other one, another one that was really funny was, have you ever heard of someone called Nephilim Free?
Oh yeah, I've talked to Nephilim Free on Amy Newman's channel. I talked to a lot of creationists though.
So one thing, so he said he was talking about how transitional. What was it?
So
Transition of species. It was transition of species, or very close to that. Transition of species isn't true because of this paper. Link hits the thing, and when you look at it, it's actually a zoo written by someone with, you know, with a zoo, saying about the difficulty of transporting animals in crates between one zoo and another, or the wild to a zoo. Or
so
zoo
it wasn't
to
even
wild.
about what he said it was about. That doesn't.
No, it was completely the opposite. It was, you know, translocation of species. That was it. Translocation of species isn't possible because this paper says so. And actually, the paper was saying how to move animals in crates.
Well, I tried to talk to him about. I was talking to him about transition too. I was talking to him about the diagnostics of teeth in carnivora to show the transition from basal carnivoras through the feliforms and caniforms and their various families under that. And he didn't want anything to do with that conversation. He kind of rage quit on me.
Yeah, something he didn't know about.
Speaking of those fun kind of discussions, Brainbug, aren't you
Three
on the
makes
perspective
people
this
do
week?
that.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be that's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
We've been taking a little bit of a hiatus, so it's going to be fun to jump back into things. I'm ready. I hopefully I get some wild calls. I can kind of.
I want the
break down.
Mothman caller to call you.
The Mothman. I talked to a Mothman.
Oh, you
caller.
did? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you did. That was a
Remember, I
while ago.
squealed on
Yeah.
camera. It was.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did.
Mhm. He was the Mothman caller we had. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a disappointment because they started getting into saying that Yoda was real and all this other wild stuff, which is always fun. But I wanted to talk more about Mothman. And they really
somebody on Twitter called Katie Montgomery a skinwalker.
Yeah. Oh,
Did you see that?
No, I did not. How recently was that?
So a turf made a sock account for Katie. It said a bunch of awful transphobic shit. Called her a skinwalker.
Right? She should own that shit. Skinwalkers are cool. I've done some research on them. They're really
Oh my God.
powerful. So yeah,
What does that even mean?
Well, so
It's
skinwalkers
mythology.
traditionally is Native American mythology about shaman or medicine men that can shapeshift into animals by donning special hides and smearing themselves with magic ointments. They do other stuff too. That's just one of the many things that they do is shapeshift. That's where they get their name Skinwalker. They'll use coyote skins or mountain lion skins, things like that. Right around your neighborhood, right, Ben?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But no, they meant something very transphobic out of it.
Yeah.
But it's just the choice of that particular myth. I don't think you know how not an insult this is.
Skinwalker. That's fantastic. Katie takes those things and makes the most hilarious posts.
Oh yeah,
and stuff about them. I just love it when she shares her little clown world post about gender critical. Yeah, we don't call them gender critical on this side of the ocean. We call them transphobes, but yeah, or we call them Republicans.
We call them Republicans. That's true. That's so true.
And thank you for that, Ox. I love the fact that people say that about our chat.
Right.
Mac
well,
just got
Mac.
Gentlemen, lady, I have to go pick my wife up, so I will.
It's great to have you, Brainbug.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming by, sweetheart. It was good seeing you.
Bye.
Always welcome.
Always nice to meet a new person.
Yeah,
it's good having
Bree
you
is
here,
amazing and oh my God, brilliant about something. They'll just blow your mind. Really, totally blow your mind. You guys should definitely try to catch that tomorrow night. Where are they going to be tomorrow night, Ben?
The perspective on your friendly neighborhood atheist.
Yep, YFNA.
I think Richard's the other host.
Yeah, Richard Gulliver.
Sure.
Yeah, they're great together too. They get along good.
I make jokes that Richard is following me around because we've done 2 shows together already.
And in this community, it's hard to bump into the same person twice accidentally. It really is. But no, Richard's easy to get along with. He seems like a pretty, he's a laid back guy, and so.
Yeah,
that's right, Ox. You tell Mac the way it is.
So, a bit of a negative tone change for a moment. I apologize. So down to sort of transphobe bullshit. And it is funny as well. So, last year at Manchester Pride, there was a protest because what happened was that the Pride Committee for Manchester, where I live, they had turned Pride into some kind of pop concert, and the amount of money that they were giving to the charities for the area, which was the whole point in them being anyway, had dropped to 3%.
Oh,
which is just really bad. And so there was a protest to say, look, this is about pride, not profit. And so there was this protest. Well, one of the people that turned up is this guy called Alexander Braham, who is a transphobe with the LGB Alliance. And I've got a photo that I took I'll share it for you here. B.
I got it.
There you go. So
yeah,
this
Ben
is the
can do all
guy,
that.
and he turned up before the protest started. And I ended up talking to him for about 10 minutes or so, and I described how the LGBT Alliance is an anti-trans hate group, and he's like, "No, we're pro-LGB." I said, "No, that I think that is plausible deniability, because if you actually look at their actual output, you'll find that 80% or so, 75, 80% is anti-trans, and the pro-LGB stuff is just plausible deniability, so they can pretend that they're not anti-LGB, anti-trans."
Right.
And I mean, I did a month's worth of cataloging their tweets, and 30 of them were self-promotion, which is you can ignore because any group self-promotes itself. But out of the the anti-LGBT, anti-trans stuff, they had 23 tweets, and 12 were anti-trans retweets from other people.
Wow.
And their pro-LGB stuff was 5, and no retweets at all for LGB stuff.
Oh, really?
Which is 87%.
Wow.
If you take the anti-trans tweets retweets and you look at it compared to the 40 in total, that would be 87.5%. A year before, roughly the same time, this is before they became a charity, which is an obnoxious thing. It was like 97%. It was crazy. They had 104 anti-trans tweets in a month. In 2 weeks. It wasn't a month, it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The year before. Anyway, so what happens is this guy turns up and then sort of takes part in this protest thing. He wearing, and you can probably see, he's wearing LGBT Alliance gear. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when it gets to the end and people are mulling about, which is what this is here, some gay guy sneaks up behind him and pulls his hat off his head and kind of runs off into the cloud. He turns around to protest, "Come on, give it back," kind of thing. And that's when, and the guy's kind of waving it around to sort of mock him, which is, naughty. It's not a thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But then, next thing you know, the crowd start chanting, "Trans lives matter, trans lives matter, trans lives matter."
Oh.
And the guy walks away. I mean, if you want, I'm one movement away of my mouse away from that video.
Oh, snap. Wow. I've never even heard of an LGB Alliance.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a hate group.
Yeah.
It's LGB without the T.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what that was about. The guy was wearing that shirt and they were all chanting at him as he was walking through.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just eating, and I know Ox hates it, so I'm turning my camera off.
Oh,
okay. So what happened next was that he's led off by the police liaison team, basically, just to make sure that nothing gets out of hand.
Right.
That
he might get his ass
beat. I mean, the crowd are mostly gay, lesbian, and bi people. So, the trans people make it up, usually about the 1% of what you get normally. So, probably about maybe 20% of the crowd at most.
Right.
Well, so what was amusing, and I say amusing in a rather cynical sense, is that that day and the following day, or maybe even that evening, actually, I think it was that evening, he was on GB News, which is right-wing. Hi, Kitty. So he was on the British right-wing news, and
yes, Tubian.
Yeah, it's LGBT Alliance. is the group.
Yeah, they left the rest off on purpose.
Yeah. So, so he goes on there and saying how he was, he was terrified, and that he thought he was going to be torn apart. Okay, and then also added on an extra layer of, and he was kicked out of Pride for being gay, which wasn't the case, because if that was the case, all the rest of the people in the protest would have been kicked out for being gay. And he wasn't kicked out of Pride because this wasn't a Pride thing anyway. It was a separate protest done on Pride weekend. And then he also laid on an extra layer of like, yeah, really? When he said that he's really, really vain about the fact that he's losing his hair a bit. And so that's why he wears the beanies. And so having that pulled off him was really, really, really upsetting. It really upset him, that. Well, so that's kind of that story from a year ago. Last year, it's not a year ago now, it's like, 8 months. But this on Thursday, there was a protest in Manchester because another anti-trans hate group, Women's Place, which have been kicked off Twitter once, but somehow they've been allowed to make another account. They
how do these people who have been hated hate others? I don't get that part.
I know.
It's like when I came out as being a lesbian, because I was hiding under that umbrella at the time. I had black couples give me dirty looks and tell me I was going to hell. And I was like, how can you hate me? Wow, man.
Yeah,
blew my mind. How can you be prejudiced?
Yeah, you'd think someone who knows what it feels like to be discriminated against.
Right? I mean, the people that know, they know better than anybody. They have been treated worse than anybody ever.
Yeah.
And what the fuck? Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're going to love this. This is an extra layer of amusement, okay? So what happens is there's a protest because they're having a meeting in Manchester. So a whole bunch of trans people, about 200, I'd say, 150, something like that, turn up and basically protest outside, turfs off our turf. Women's Place is a hate group.
What the hell are you doing, Jenny? Yeah, you'll see Kitty all over the place. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so I just want to finish off this story because it's amusing. So, so what happens is after about maybe an hour of this protest happening, that guy turned up in the crowd. The guy wearing the LGB Alliance stuff, he wasn't wearing LGB Alliance stuff this time. I have a feeling that guy's trying to become a professional victim. One of those people that gets themselves into trouble so that, like effectively he wants to be assaulted by someone who's
so they
trans,
can get sympathy, pity. Yeah,
exactly. Get sympathy, money, talk on a stage or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like he's after persecution porn. And not only that, I've forgotten the name now. British. She's a comedian that's trans, and she went to the LGBT Alliance thing. This last week, she posted videos showing how there was this guy who just abused her, calling her a man and a pedophile and stuff like that. The guy who was doing the calling is that Alexander Graham's boyfriend. And that was at the LGBT Alliance meeting last year. So, it's like, my God, it just, it amazes me.
Yeah.
How duplicitous, and how awful some people can be.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. Some people are just fucking horrible.
Yeah.
So, Jenny.
I just want to say one last thing on this topic, and that is that I brought it up because when is it Jenny Ives? I think it is. When her video went up and stuff like that, I basically pointed out that this is the same guy. By the way, that guy that was at Pride last year, or the Pride protest last year, and and then lied about what had happened, is the same guy whose boyfriend was insulting you in that video. Oh, and by the way, they turned up in a protest this week, and within about an hour or so, he'd closed down his Twitter. Not shut down completely. I just mean, block everything was you could only see it if you were following him or you
private or whatever, right?
Privated. Yeah, that's it. Privated. So it's like, wow. I don't know if that was caused by me or it's just a coincidence, but either way.
Let's take it, right? Hey, Jenny, how are you?
Oh, I'm all right. How are you guys?
I'm
good.
Good.
Nice to see you again. How are you? Everything's
fine.
good?
I just lost track of time. I'd been sleeping off schedule this morning and everything is delayed a couple hours for me.
It feels like that, doesn't it? Doesn't it just fuck you up? Like I did that one day, what was that? Friday night. I went to bed like really late and then I didn't get up until like fucking noon. I literally got up 15 minutes before Ben's show hit. And I was like, fuck, I got to turn on the computer. Ben's going to be on. And I like ran around and made coffee and I was all like half asleep and shit. I slept for 10 and a half hours straight.
Yeah.
So I must have needed it. I didn't sleep much at the beginning of the week, but anyways. Yeah, no, I hate that when it happens. And then it felt like Saturday was just weird. All day Saturday was weird for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like it was off balance.
Hey, I stopped in the chat before I came in. Tubian made a comment of LGB Alliance is anti-trans. No, they're not anti-trans. They want us all dead.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to understand how intense this
There's
group
a
is.
difference.
They literally want us dead. They have said so publicly.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I know that they compared being trans to bestiality.
Yeah, they some of their members are the people who have recommended that bathrooms be staffed by people with live guns, and that anybody who comes in who's trans should be shot.
They retweet
and these kinds of things. One of their proponents, Posey Parker, which is a pseudonym, is just virulent and
that's right. It was her that said that. They retweeted her with something like agreed or something.
Yeah, it's not just a question of being uncomfortable or seeking civil rights or something like that. No, these people want us dead.
Yeah. This is like I said, I did a little bit of research. Just screen share for you.
And the same influencers in America not only want us dead, but they're going to go after gay rights, gay marriage rights, and gay people too when they're done with us.
Yeah,
which they've printed it. It's been in print. It's not just our imagination.
Oh, sorry about the ambulance going by. Yeah, this is a month that I did a little bit of watching, and like I say, it's all in tweets, retweets, anti-trans or pro-LGB, and you can see there were no retweets about pro-LGB stuff at all, and only 5 in a month. 30 were self-promotion, so 23 were their anti-trans tweets.
Jesus.
And 12 were anti-trans tweets of someone else that they retweeted. And like I say, this is 87%.
That's exactly what they're saying. That's correct.
Now, if we jump to the year before, this is before they were a charity, 104 anti-trans tweets, retweets, 3 pro-LGB ones, and 2 on self-promotion.
Bye, Mage.
That speaks for itself, doesn't it? But
yeah.
Have you sent those to Twitter?
Yes, I've posted them on Twitter a few places. Yeah.
No, not posting them on Twitter. Giving them to Twitter administration.
Oh, right. No.
Well, I think you should maybe write them a letter and send them some copies of that stuff.
Mm.
Get them kicked off altogether.
These people need to lose their platform.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, they'll probably just move. Well, they're already on Mumsnet and stuff like that too.
Yeah. Actually, there's speaking of Mumsnet, there's a funny thing that's going on. So the government is basically looking into law stopping hate speech because kids are being abused and etc. And Mumsnet is kind of like a little bit worried about this. Because their feminism part of their website is just abhorrent. So much anti-trans stuff you wouldn't believe it, and so they're basically worried that their website will be canned because of a corner. Because Mumsnet has got loads of great stuff if you're a mum and you got kids and breastfeeding and etc. Teething and all those sorts of things about bringing up kids. And that's all wonderful and great, but they've got this little corner of which has a hell of a lot of activity, and they've got sponsorship and stuff like that as well, thanks to that corner of the internet. And so it's like, well, they've got two choices, haven't they? If this law comes in, there's two choices. Choice number one is stop allowing the anti-trans hate. That will solve the problem, but then they'll lose money and people going there, and that's how they make their money. So it's like, or you'll have to shut down. Sorry, well, and it's like, ooh, it could be bad for them. So you watch them to move from a British website or British company or whatever to Tonga or.
What's the name of this bill or law that's being proposed or discussed?
I can't remember.
Are you looking for it or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All this dead air makes you nervous,
Yeah.
I may or may not be
Jenny laughing over here. Kitty said, so how have you been, Laura? Been a hot minute since we've spoken.
It's been ages. I'm doing pretty well, actually. I'm now 9 months into my transition, medical transition, by the way. That's 3 years now. I've been in transition. And so it's all going well. My skin is fantastic. My mental space is doing a lot better. I mean, it's still terrifying to go out, but,
I love that somebody can make use of estrogen because I find it to be terrible, but I'm very happy that some people really enjoy it.
I said, I think I told you the other day.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think I told you the other day the funniest thing I've seen last year was a gender critical, which is just a synonym for transphobe lady.
Yep.
She was saying how cis women were having their estrogen siphoned from them to give it to trans women.
No.
And well, of course, it only takes 10 seconds to Google it to discover that the estrogen for that trans women take, like me take, comes from pregnant horse pee.
Yep.
So unless this cis woman is a pregnant horse,
now we're gonna get PETA in on it.
Which, like,
how dare you take that horse's pee?
How did they think that estrogen would be siphoned from cis women without their knowledge? Like, you would have to literally consent to that because that you're being siphoned from.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I mean, this is someone who didn't think enough to Google it, let alone Google what the reality is.
And these are the same people that come after me telling me that I don't know biology. Like, think about it again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! It's sad that you had left earlier, because I had a picture I wanted to or a story I wanted to show you, which was a guy in the US who ER turned up. The ambulance turned up, and he was taken to hospital because he had a chicken huff up his arsehole.
Oh, good.
A live one.
Good.
And it's like, you know, there's that little thing about, guess what we got stuck up our rectums this year?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't have live chicken in it, then I think that that little thing that goes up every year, I think it's just bullshit and just made up. It reads well. But it's real.
No, it's fine. They can post it, but they all lose.
Yeah. But it was so funny. You know, it made me laugh so much. Where is it?
I thought I'd heard that somewhere before. Yeah, that's exactly. You're right. That's right, Kitty.
There it is. Indiana. There you go.
Indiana.
Yep. Indiana egg farmer transported to hospital with a live chicken stuck in his rectal cavity.
Yeah, I'm like not surprised. I'm
You
not
know.
surprised anymore by the things people do.
And you know, it's
Like,
you know,
remember
loud-
that time, like when we were kids and when we thought that adults had things figured out? Yeah, it was all a lie. Nobody has anything figured out, and people put live chickens in their butts. So
yeah. This one's the scary bit. 7-hour surgical intervention. Both the man and the animal would have died if they had waited any longer. The bird was dying of suffocation when it got here, and it had already lacerated the patient's bowels in a desperate attempt to get out, and was still gashing at it like crazy.
yeah,
780 stitches. The thing that I do, that there's an end bit which just sort of is, I mean, it's horrible, but it's somewhat like weirdly funny as well. The ASPCA has taken the hen into custody for the duration of the investigation. It will treat it for any possible symptom of post-traumatic disorder, PTSD.
What did I just come into the middle of?
a live chicken up someone's butthole.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And the chicken was alive, thrashing around the whole time.
Yep.
And then they took it into custody to give it post-traumatic stress disorder treatment. Like, you can't even make that shit up, man.
I just got to know from the little time that I have spent working in the ERs and the excuses that you hear, which seems to be the one universal. Was he like feeding the chickens in the coop naked and fell down on one?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, and that girl fell on that penis too, and she's accidentally pregnant. Actually, Kitty, fun fact, we do this every single Monday night. Every Monday night is trans stream over here, so you guys are welcome anytime. Aw, thanks, Pixie. Appreciate that. I did hear lots of good things about you, so.
I like
What's up,
Pixie
Rose?
Storm's name.
John wants to know if the chicken's okay.
I don't know, but they were checking it. You know, they were watching over it to treat it if it still had PTSD.
And this happened in where?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Shelbyville, Indiana.
Yo, the only part about
isn't
that,
Indiana one of those Midwest states where there's not much that goes on. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just watch the TV, mate. Just watch the TV. Don't start. Yeah, just watch the TV. Don't start doing weird things with chickens.
Indiana is one of the anti-trans states. You know, it's
See, this person was bored because he lives in Indiana.
Yeah.
And he needed something to do besides think about how horrible it is that he lives in Indiana.
Oh, dear me. Some
that's
of the things
just
you find
way
on the
bizarre.
internet. You know. I heard something. I heard something amusing that the whole Florida man thing comes from because there's a law in Florida saying that things have to be reported or whatever.
Yep.
And so as a result, you just watch like what's weird, stupid Florida news that came out, because there's always something doing something stupid or weird. And it's just easily findable in Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they have to talk about it. Yeah.
I just don't know if I believe that stuff happens elsewhere. I've lived a couple of different places, and I don't hear about that kind of junk.
It's okay to be in denial. It probably goes on all over the place. You just don't know. Haven't you ever heard of Rule 34?
We really don't want to.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of Rule 34.
Jenny, that one's
Kitty,
for you.
Kitty, I
That's
did,
just on
but
the
the
screen.
legislature is overriding his veto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only thing that's missing out of this is that he did it on OnlyFans.
With chicken guy or
the chicken guy.
I was like, I don't think the politics is happening over OnlyFans, but yeah, but chicken guy, I could see chicken guy doing that over OnlyFans, of course.
So because I'm late. I of course missed an hour and a half of the show. Did anybody talk about Will Smith being such a nice guy?
We did at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
But we shifted because the topic of today is trans visibility, because Trans Day of Visibility is this week.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
I won't bring it up again then.
No, you're good. Beck and I established that we don't care a whole lot.
Do you know, it's really sad, but for the last 2 years of Trans Day of Visibility, I always end up having one of those days off Twitter.
Oh.
You know, and it's like, oh, you know, I mean, I'm visible all of the time. I represent myself as who I am and don't shy away from it. You know, as I mentioned the other day with Phoebe, I spent 19 years pretending to be a guy, even though I knew I was trans, because I was trying to make everybody else comfortable. Well, I've stopped doing that now. That was 3 years ago. You know, I'm being me now, and that's the way it is.
See, I'm uncomfortable with it because in the part of the state where I live in, although I generally don't get any trouble for being trans, it's not like I go and announce it, and I'm afraid that if I did, the redness of the county would show.
Yeah.
And I'm not prepared to take that on alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that we do have fortunate in the UK is we've got the Equality Act, so my rights are enshrined in law. Whereas, you know, you can be kicked out of the home you're renting because you're an atheist, or, you know, or you're trans or gay or whatever. And it's like, that just, you know, it's obscene.
Isn't it funny how all these like cishet guys, you know, end up with like gerbils and all kinds of shit up their asses, and they have to go to the emergency room, and it's all like sex shit, but yet they hate gay and trans people. Like, motherfucker, there's not much of a difference there, except for one is real flesh and the other one's an object you picked out of your kitchen. Like, what
one consented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That Coke bottle did not consent to that shit.
Well, the question is,
the chain didn't consent.
Yeah. The question you asked us about the Coca-Cola one is, was it New Pepsi or the original?
I think New Coke was only around for a short time.
I know, but there were a lot of people telling Coke to shove it up their ass.
Because you love it. No, Aaron's a great guy.
You know what? I'd love to know if an American state said they were going to outlaw porn. Do you think? Well, thank you, Mac. Do you think that there would be protests about that?
Oh yeah, that would not go over well.
Oh no, porn is one of the number one businesses in the nation, in the world, really.
I know.
It drives technological change, and it has ever since it first started to show up hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing the technology they use to record up someone's asshole.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's images of stone carvings and wood carvings in various, antique buildings that are hundreds and hundreds of years old that have pornographic images in them. It's just what people do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because these religious people in the U.S., like a lot of them preach about how awful porn is, and then they all watch it. They just don't admit that, or they do admit that they watch it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a sinful thing that I'm working on. I have a porn addiction," and they weaponize that against people.
I'm
Like,
hoping
no,
God
like-
will forgive me. I pray every day about it.
Like, no.
Yes.
Like, as long as it's consensual, if it's something that's like ethically produced and the person wants to be making that, like, go for it. Have fun.
It all comes down to consent.
Consent, yeah.
I had an amusing one where
Porn shows VHS to win over Betamax and Blu-ray over HD DVD. Blue. That was a lot of D's.
It's true though. Porn had a lot to do with the home video revolution. Has had a lot to do with the home digital revolution as well. It helped to drive the introduction of colored film back in the 40s, 30s and 40s. Movie films back in the turn of the century. Yeah, it's of the other century, not this one.
Yeah.
Gosh, and there's all kinds of paintings and stuff out of the Renaissance that are tawdry, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking about paintings, let's give you something that might give you a different light. The Mona Lisa. I'm of the firm belief that the Mona Lisa is a 17th century passport photo. It explains everything.
It does. It does look like a passport photo.
And it's not very big either.
The weirdest explanation I've ever heard of the Mona Lisa was that it's the face of what's his name's lover superimposed in a woman's image.
Mm.
I have to say this. Here's one thing that scares me and freaks me out about the chicken story, okay? If that guy, the size of that guy, hold on. The size of that guy, okay, let's be honest. He would have needed help to get that chicken in his ass. Who the fuck helped that dude stick a chicken in his ass?
Yeah.
That guy was like every bit of like 500 pounds, 600 pounds.
I mean,
There's no
the
way
only
he did that
other
by himself.
The only other conclusion you can think of is he pulled it out. He pulled it really wide and filled his ass full of chicken feed first.
Well, he might have needed multiple people. Well, he might have needed multiple people because not just because of the size issue, but also because it's a live chicken, and you're gonna need someone to hold on to the chicken.
There next, fucker. You ever held a live chicken? They do not hold still. They're like this, like leave me alone.
Yeah,
constantly.
Yeah, chickens are like pigeons with the head movement.
Yeah, like he probably had multiple people helping him.
You got to have at least one, man. Yeah, you got to have at least one.
I sometimes sit back and I wonder about what was the person thinking who was the first person to eat this or that, like a lobster, for example. What was this guy thinking? What did he think he was going to experience by doing this?
When I think of I want something inside me, I do not think of feathers, claws, beaks. No.
And not live either.
Yeah, and alive. Like, they had to give him how many stitches? 170, 90 somewhat stitches because it tore up his rectum? Like, what the fuck?
What, they counted the stitches?
What's that?
They counted the stitches? That's even as weird, just as weird as...
That's a weird... technique,
No, it's
because
a
my
thing
thought
that
is like
people
if
do.
they had perforated so much of it, like they probably would have had to take some pieces out and sew it back, like probably anastomose the whole thing. So
Yeah, that makes sense. And how far could you get a chicken up there, and why didn't it suffocate within minutes?
These are really good questions, and to be honest, I really don't want to know.
Well, if you're going to bring something up, you got to explore the science.
yes, this is a scientific conversation.
That's right. Yeah, everybody stay tuned in the next couple of months, see if it makes it onto the porn sales networks.
Well, like I say, the thing that I want to know is every year there's something called, what did we get stuck off our rectum this year? And and they list other orifices as well: nose, mouth, eye, throat, things like that. But like for example, one of them one year was in the vagina, crack pipe, and then the next one was broken crack pipe. It's like, ooh, Now, so my question is, you wonder, did someone collate that accurately, or is it just, what, this is the kind of stupid shit that people do, so I'm going to start writing a list, and there's not very many, I haven't done enough research, I'll just add a bunch more and just make them up. And so it just became a thing that they just make up stuff every year. Maybe. The question is, sorry, I think the reality will be that next year, or this Christmas time, winter time, if there isn't live chicken, then it's a fair bet that's all made up. But if it's got live chicken, I think I will, accept that it's realistic.
Ox, I've never heard that expression out of Alabama. They experiment with chickens up their butts too?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Is this a Southern thing or what?
If it was Alabama, I would not be surprised.
Oh, Lordy.
As I made the Alabama joke the other day, how can you tell if you're on an Alabama beach? The footprints are webbed.
Are wet?
Webbed.
Oh, webbed. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I thought you said wet, and I'm like, and I don't get it.
Yeah. How do you tell if you're on an Alabama beach? The footprints are webbed. Yeah, my joke actually goes to Norfolk in the UK. Because there is like, your uncle is your mum's sister. Who knows what? But there's a bit of an inbreeding joke in that part of the world.
Your uncle is your mom's sister.
That came out completely wrong. But
well,
not
if unless uncle's trans, that would be fine.
But
inbreeding, yeah. I see. I can't imagine any of my relatives that I'd want to have that I'd want to have a relationship with on that level.
Aaron said, "I'm in deliverance territory here. No comment."
Ding 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 ding.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Oh,
there is a term that's comes from a comedy show in the UK, and the sound that would be sutusa. But that's the Fast Show. The Fast Show is really good. You'll find clips on YouTube. Just put in the Fast Show drunk guy. That's a good one. And what you've got is there's an old guy. He's a QC, so he used to be a state lawyer barrister, and he he's like an old man, and he's in a wood-paneled room with a sherry in his hand, and he's sort of mumbling about things that happened in the past in his life. And he would he would say something and then mumble something else, and then he would, say something else, and it's like, and the joke is, what the hell did he say in mumbling to get from A to B? It's like, if you can imagine, yes, yes. So it'd be like, 40 years ago, I was in Alabama, and there was this guy who put a chicken up his ass, and it was, that would, and just the mumbling, and it's like, okay, what the hell did you say in the mumbling part? But not only that, whenever you listen to these videos, think about Boris Johnson.
Oh no!
Because that's what he's going to be like when he's 80. If he's still alive.
See, if I was in a conversation and that came up, the first question I'd have is, the whole chicken?
Well, you can fit a whole chicken into a can.
Actually, no. I'll give a better analogy of this one. Okay, so I remember a story back in the early 2010s, and there was this guy from Indiana, and a live chicken, and and you just and then you're like rushed to hospital with bad wounds, and it's like, that would be what did he say in the mumbling? What happened? It was bizarre, but also really funny at the same time. Now, the Suit You thing is, there's a kind of like a men's suitors. So, like you go and you get a custom made suit. So there's these kind of rather randy guys, and they would just like say really awful sexual innuendos. Does she like it, sir? Up against the tree in the darkness of the night. Oh, suit you, sir. That's it's just smutty, but and it's just like, why would those guys start saying things like that? Just ugh. Then you've got it's sort of like, it's someone like Brazil or Argentina or someone like that, and it's like the news and the weather, and it's like she just sticking signs that going Scorchio, Scorchio. Yeah. The main thing to remember about the Fast Show is, instead of having long, drawn-out comedy sketches, it's just quick punchline stuff. I'm my own grandpa. I remember that.
I'm probably going to head out in a little bit.
Actually, Ben, how have you been doing with your family stuff?
My family and I aren't on super good terms right now. So, but
how have you been going on about that? How have you been feeling
I ignore their shit.
But you're coping all right.
Yeah, I don't really want to go into it because I'm intentionally ignoring them.
Yeah, no problem. I understand.
You don't engage, it's harder to create an argument, right?
Yeah, I just don't engage.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a pretty tough Sunday, because Sunday was Mother's Day. The day before Mother's Day in 2019, my mum disowned me because I wanted to go down as a guy to give her a present. So, yeah, that was, it just sort of, I don't know. it was a tough one. Still upsets me still to this day. And I think the main reason why it upsets me is because my mum always told me her love for me was unconditional, and yet when I made a choice about my own life that she didn't like, suddenly there was small print to this,
Yep.
to this unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, then it's not unconditional.
Yeah, it's a bit like having Christians say Jesus loves you, and in the small print, except if you're gay, you look at porn, you buy,
Right,
you're an
exactly.
atheist.
You've ever done anything wrong in your entire life?
Yeah, it's
Boom.
funny how these Christians, they'll act so nice to you when you're one of them, and then as soon as you're no longer one of them,
Oh my god, dude,
they get so mean.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
okay, so maybe you weren't actually nice. You're just only nice to people that agree with you.
Well, that's exactly.
Or you
what
put it on as an act to get people to try to join you.
Mm-hmm.
It's that whole thing, that the whole, like, those Christian indoctrinated fucking people that go every Sunday and do all the "oh God bless you" and everything. It's just a bunch of fucking bullshit.
So fake.
It's a bunch of bullshit. I used to see people, because I worked in retail for years and years and years, and I'd see people come into the store, and they come in on Sunday and everybody's dressed nice and everything's good and everybody's happy, right? They come back the next day, the kid's in fucking like a wet, saggy diaper, no other clothes on, they're filthy. Like, you're real godly for about 2 hours out of the fucking week.
Yeah, and then they talk garbage to like people working at restaurants, and they just treat other people like shit.
I've seen people like yell at the fucking cashier because they're not perfect enough.
Yeah,
because we're all not, we're not allowed to be human. Yeah.
See, like anytime something like that happened, like anytime somebody
screaming at their kids.
Yeah, just like anytime somebody who's working a job like makes a mistake, I'm just like, yeah, you're good. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
And like it's frustrating how people can turn such little things into such big things because it's an inconvenience to them. Like that person like has so many people yelling at them all day. Like just let them know they can take an extra second like to fix it. Like, cause they're probably happy to fix it. Just like let them, like, don't be a dick to them about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the essence of the whole idiom. Don't be a dick. There's just no reason to behave that way.
Really, right?
Nothing is that important. Nothing is that important.
I know. I'll walk up into a line you get to a line at the grocery store at the same time as somebody else, and you like look at each other like, who's gonna? And I'm like, go ahead. And they're like, oh, well, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm never in such a hurry that I'm going to be mean or rude or whatever, whatever term I feel like using that day. Impolite, disrespectful, whatever. I changed the last word. But Kitty said, here's a question for the panel. Is it transphobic to hope your child is not trans because of the lifelong struggle they will suffer? You accept them if they end up being trans, but hope for not.
I don't think that's trans at all.
No, I don't think that's transphobic. Because it's not about them being trans, it's about their suffering that you don't want them to go through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish this on anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I've known black couples that refuse to have children because they're like, no, my child's going to be harassed like I was. I'm not bringing anybody into that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was years ago, but
either way, it's a sad thing to have to even think of, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It should never be like that. You shouldn't have to consider that shit or worry about that shit, The good news is, Kitty, is kids around your child's age, by the time they get old enough, it's going to be a lot different. 15, 20 years from now, it's going to be a lot different. It changes a lot. If you look, you could see like every 5 to 10 years, there's big advancements. There's advancements in medicine. There's advancement, social advancements. Just some of it, hey Marie, some of it just takes longer than other things. It's always advancing, and that's why you have these anti-trans bills, because they don't want it to advance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's effectively, I think, thanks to Trumpism and Brexit, the Brexit effect. I think that America, with the Trumpism thing, is taking the one step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And and in the UK we've had a similar thing with the Brexit thing.
I almost just wrecked.
You're playing. He's driving.
I looked away for a second and I almost wrecked.
Dr. Cross said, I don't want to have mixed race kids because of how people are. I'm going to tell you something, Dr. Cross. Let me tell you something. I used to have this friend I worked with. Her name was Lynette. She had this Italian last name. And I honestly, I didn't want to just meet her and be like, why the fuck are you have an Italian last name? Because she is obviously a medium to light skinned black woman. Right. And that particular name that she has as a last name is indigenous to southern part of Italy. So it wouldn't make any sense. Right. So eventually we got to be friends and I was like, how did you get that last name? She said, oh, I married a white guy. And I said, oh, okay. That makes sense. She said, yeah, he's from, northern Rome. I'm sorry. From a northern part of Rome. I can't remember what city she said now. But anyways, all the way up in northern Rome. This guy was blonde hair, blue-eyed, little scrawny dude, nicest guy you'll ever meet in your life. Their kids all day long looked Hispanic. Their kids literally, you could not, if you saw them all together, you'd be like, oh, these are your parents. That makes sense, right? But if you saw them with one parent, you'd be like, wait, what? They looked Hispanic. They looked like they were adopted.
Unfortunately, given the Trumpism, that has encouraged people to come out with their racism, being Hispanic is bad.
I know. It was like 10 steps forward, 50 steps backwards.
I don't think it's like. I think it's 1 step back. I think Trumpism is the 1 step back.
I don't know, not 50 backwards, but definitely more than 1. We definitely took a
I mean, race has been an issue that is very slow to getting improved. It was not long ago that it was even worse than it is now, but it's we're not much better if you really think about it. It's not much better.
Trump behavior wise of the public, Trump brought us back to the early 60s easily.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I was saying. Lots of steps back.
We had a similar thing with like I say, I call it the Brexit effect, but in the run up to Brexit, there was what are we going to do about Europe? Are we going to leave or are we going to stay in? And when Brexit actually happened, so when the referendum happened and we decided we're going to leave Europe, I remember the day after watching a news story, and there was a guy in Yorkshire, and he said that he voted to leave because he didn't want the bloody Muslims getting in, which has nothing to do with Europe at all. Absolutely nothing to do with it.
What the fuck?
That's all it's about. It's just about the Muslims. Don't want the Muslims getting in. And there's a lot of people who feel like that, And unfortunately, it's all our fault. Because what happened was, grandparents' fault, I suppose you could say. Back in the 50s, 60s, into the 70s, if you had you'd go, if a black guy comes off a ship from Jamaica and he wants to settle down in a town, and the first thing he has to do is find somewhere to live. And so he goes to the boarding houses and all the little motels that you can sort of live at, rent a room. And they've all got outside the door, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. And so they end up going to the crappy part of town where, there are rooms available, but most people don't go. So they've always got spare rooms available. And so they end up going there. And then word gets around that this is the area to go to because you can find somewhere to stay. And then gradually over time, the people who own those boarding houses decide to retire. So the ethnic minorities buy the houses and move in their families and so on. And so you end up with somewhat like America, they end up with a ghetto part of town. There's a Muslim part of town or the Hindu part of town, or even a Polish bit of town now. There's a Chinatown in the center of Manchester and things like that. There's a Jewish part in the north part of Manchester. So you've got these clusters of people, and unfortunately, someone comes over from Pakistan or someone like that, and they end up moving to that part of town, and they don't need to speak English because all the people in their neighborhood and where they got the local shop and stuff like that, they all speak the same language. So, but then we've got government saying they're not integrating. Well, it's a bit hard to integrate when they've like been stuck in a ghetto part of town because of racists back in the 50s and 60s. So, is it their fault they're not integrating, or maybe, we didn't, we screwed it all up in the past? Anyway, so what happened was when Brexit happened, it emboldened the racists, the people, because 10 years ago, if you had a friend who said something racist, you'd basically tilt your head and go, really? Or something like that. And they'd be shamed into silence. And then suddenly we have a referendum. And their mind says, well, now I can tell these black people can F off back home or whatever. And because they got away with it, the homophobes and the transphobes and the sexists and et cetera, they all think they can get away with it too. And that's the reason why hate crime's gone up like 400% against trans people in the last 5 years. It's insane. So, like I say, I mean, a perfect example of this mentality. I remember being on Twitter, and when the Black Lives Matter protests were going on in the UK, you had British white people, usually gammon-faced people, sort of like older guys, red in the face, and they were saying, "No, all lives matter." And then a couple of months later, when you got migrant boats coming off over the channel, over the English Channel, you've got them. It's the right-wing newspapers have been, sort of plaguing it like it's, it's like it's a plague that's infecting us, and so obviously they've been getting that kind of stuff. Next thing you know, they're saying that the Royal Navy should blow migrant rubber boats out of the ocean, out of the sea. Isn't it funny how all lives matter unless they're not unless they're white?
Right.
Blow them out of the water.
Yeah, just blow them out of the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. Honestly, this is my thought, Dr. Cross. I'm going to go back up here a little bit because we were talking about. Okay. So, this is my opinion on skin color. I think we should get as many biracial people to breed as we can, and then everybody will look like basically Kitty's kid. And that's what everybody's going to end up looking like if it just keeps going like that. So I encourage it. I would love for everybody just to be a nice medium tan. Well, done with racism now. We're all the same fucking color.
I'm going to need
what are you going to do? Pick apart.
They'd find a way. They'd find a way to
came
do it
from this part. I know.
They'd find a way to do it.
The point is it would lessen it. Oh my God, it would be almost nothing. It would be almost nothing if we all had the same skin color. I think that would be amazing to see. And God, look how good we'd look. Our skin would be so much better. Because this lack of melanin, we have shit skin. We have horrible fucking, we get wrinkled, we get fucking, look at these age spots and shit I got. I mean, fuck me. I'm so
of
jealous.
course, you know what would be better and much easier to accomplish? Don't be fucking racist.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you want them to not be racist? What's wrong with you, Laura?
I'm sorry.
I know, wouldn't that be great?
I'm sorry, I'm asking too much.
You really are. You want people to be all treated equally.
Yeah. But a bit like you were saying to Kitty, that every generation that we've gone through over the last 40 years or something like that has become less and less transphobic, racist, etc. I mean, you still have the problem of passing on that discrimination mindset to the next generation by the parents that were racist, etc. But I think the biggest drag factor in this is religion. When it comes to gay and trans people, LGBT people, plus there is the drag factor of religion. And because America is more religious than Europe, it is probably harder. It's going to take longer for America to sort of get over that.
You know, I apologize, Kitty. I thought he had. You're right. Now that I think about it, he doesn't have very dark skin. But I was thinking like light Hispanic color, right? I mean, that's what everybody's going to end up. That's if we all mix all the races together. That's what you're going to end up having.
I should head out at some point soon. It's been
we'll get on out of here, man. I'm gonna end this in a little while, but I'm gonna finish up this conversation. So yeah, get on out of here. Good,
all right, bye everyone.
Take care, Ben.
Take care, Ben.
Yeah, 20 Dragon, we were talking about that earlier, how this woke culture is kind of becoming like a toxic thing. It's so fucked up. And I really saw this coming years ago, and I guess it just never dawned on me like it would get to that point, you know? But I saw signs of shit. I was like, here's a for instance. There's a guy, everybody knows him on TikTok, and he's a Native American, and he advocates for Native Americans. And I thought, that's great. Fuck yeah, I'll follow this guy. I'll support this dude. I'll like his videos. I'll share them out and get him more blah, blah, blah. So every time he put out a video, I would always, comment in there and something in agreement and my point of view on it, but basically just agreeing with him because he was right, all the ones I had seen. Then the people in the other natives that were following him started picking on me and shit. So I ignored it, One guy I blocked because he was being a dickhead. And then I see him do a video, and he says, "You know how I fight racism?" No, he said, how? Wait a minute, something about wish he could, or if he could do anything to fight racism. He said, "I'd make it so white people can't have babies." And I'm like, hey, whoa. That's fucked up. That's too far. Can't fight racism with racism. And he just doesn't care. He's an absolute cocky fucking prick. And most of what he says, I am fucking on board with 100%. I mean it. I am. But man, he got to that point. Fuck that. I didn't just stop following. I blocked his ass just in case.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with him now.
And
people, all these white people out here are touting him, and yes, he's right. He's right. I'm like, yeah, he's right, but to a point. God damn, man.
Yeah.
You're going to blame it on all of us? Most of us came over after that shit happened. My families did. Both sides. They weren't here for any of that shit. They came over later. So now I have to pay for what someone else did that my family had nothing to do with?
Yeah.
It's like slavery. My family was so fucking poor, they couldn't have fucking even afforded a slave if they wanted one. And they were all Northeastern people who were fucking fought in the goddamn war.
The argument,
don't punish the rest of us. Don't punish the rest of us.
The argument isn't about who did racism or killing of Native Americans in the beginning. That's not what today's racism is about, or people that think about reparations and stuff like this. It's about,
I believe in reparations.
It doesn't matter when you were born. If you haven't stood up and said, change this law that is institutional racism, or if you haven't changed this company that is institutionally racist, you're part of the problem. Maybe not a big part, but you're still part of it.
I'm not a part of the problem. I've given people shit. I've walked out of places. I've told people to fuck off. Yelled at them that they were racist as I was walking out the door and quit my job.
Yeah.
I've done shit like that. I don't give a fuck. I'll call people out. I don't give a shit. Now, is my one little voice going to do a goddamn thing? I mean, maybe over time with enough other voices.
Well, that's
I go and vote and stuff because that's all I can do.
If we can collect all our voices together, who feel
but
like
that's
we
the
do.
point of what the government does, Jenny. The whole point of the government is so we don't all get together and do something about them.
Yeah.
Because if we all agreed and got together and compromised like they should be doing and all sat down and said, okay, this is we're going to go for just this right now because this helps everybody, they would have no chance against us.
Unfortunately.
But if they keep us divided, they'll always win.
Yeah.
They
Unfortunately,
they promote that shit.
I can't imagine that happening in America, certainly the way the politics is right now, because it's so polarized. The idea of compromise isn't possible, particularly with the Republicans, to be honest. It's like my way or the highway, or we'll shut down the government, is an attitude that's gone around for a while now. Double standards. I mean, you look at what happened when Kavanaugh became it's like, oh no, we're not going to allow Obama to appoint someone in the last year, and then when the same thing happens with Trump, oh no, that doesn't matter now. It's double standards. But I had a sort of backwards and forwards with someone on a YouTube video a few weeks back, and it was one of those bad cops tackles someone who was on his knees with his arms out. He wasn't protesting, he wasn't resisting, and a cop comes out of nowhere, and you see two vest cam footage, and one is the guy, one's one officer, and it's like get down kind of thing. And so the guy's like, I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing anything. His arms are out, his hands are open, flat, and this other cop screams up in a police car, jumps out, runs around the back of a high-sided vehicle. So he had about 2 seconds at most of visual between seeing the guy and hitting him. So he had no chance to make an assessment of, is this guy cooperating or does he need to be taken down? He just automatically just went wham and slammed into him, and they ended up with his face in the ground. And
that happens here all the time, right?
That's an example of it happening all the time. It was anyway.
It's constant.
So someone in the comments was like, we should just kill cops. And I'm like, okay, look, there's a lot of gray area between doing nothing and killing cops. I think a lot of that gray area in the middle is figuring out why there's a problem and fixing that problem. And their answer is just, no, kill cops, kill all cops.
Well, the problem is once those guys walk out the door, nobody knows what they're doing except for their partner if they have one.
Yeah.
So I think that there's not enough accountability.
I agree.
I think they should. They think they should randomly have supervisors that go and check on them when they're on the scene and pull up behind them and see what's going on and shit like that. That's what needs to happen. But see, the cities don't want to spend the money for that because those supervisors cost a lot of money.
And also things like ethical groups watching the supervisors, because if you've got a supervisor that's just as bad as the cop that he's supposed to be supervising.
Well, see, but that's the thing with the police department. You have to get you have to get internal affairs into it, and that gets pricey.
Yeah,
and people, they don't want to do it. They don't have the manpower to do it. They don't have enough internal affair people to fucking do it. They just don't. They're never going to hire those people in because then they're going to be held accountable.
Yeah, you know what makes me chuckle when you watch movie and you hear the internal affairs department and everyone's like, oh, they're just horrible, bastards out to get innocent cops.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of things I've seen where I see the cops doing a speed check. So traffic cops doing a speed check.
Yeah.
If you get caught speeding, they pull you over and they'll basically book you for it. Okay.
Right.
Oh, what are they? Haven't they got proper criminals to go after than these innocent? Wait a minute. How are they innocent if they're doing 3 times the speed limit?
Yeah, you're not innocent.
Stuff
anymore,
like that.
right?
It's like no, and the arguments say, oh, I haven't got anything better to do. There are people getting stabbed and stuff. And it's like, I'm sorry. That there are different departments in the police, and they can do more than one job. They can deal with more than one kind of crime. Knife crime is a percentage of the job that they do. And yes, it's not good and they need to focus more, but that doesn't mean to say they can't, pull over speeding motorists that are likely to kill someone, etc. you know. But I think one of the looking at what Kissy says, one of the differences in the UK is that cops generally don't have guns here.
Yeah.
You know, and I think because America has, you know, basically it's in the Constitution, you've got the right to bear arms, the right to arm bears, whatever you like. It, you know, it means that American cops are paranoid. And I think one of the other problems that can happen, I'm not saying this is always a problem, but it's a problem that can happen, is that a lot of American cops are ex-army guys or whatever, ex-forces. And the problem with the ex-forces is that the forces, like, if there's a danger, shoot first and ask questions later, is largely the training. Well, you can't have that mental approach when it comes to policing civilians.
Actually, that's not true with the military. That hasn't been
No?
true for a long time.
Hmm.
They have standards of warfare, standards of this and that, and if you break it, they will fucking prosecute you.
Okay, that's
And
you know,
that
I
has,
have heard stories about that, so maybe I've got that a
Yeah.
bit wrong.
well, except for during wartime.
Yeah.
You know, but even during wartime these days, everybody's held accountable. Because we've had instances of soldiers doing some stupid shit.
Abu Ghraib.
And so they fucking crunched down on them years ago. And that shit was happening during Desert Storm and Desert Shield. Yeah. I remember because I was enlisted at that point. I wasn't over there, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to take off, you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I'm ending this anyways. If you want to just wait a minute, we'll get the hell out of here.
You know, I got a
'cause
picture I want to share
pooped.
before you go, because I, you know, it's just a laugh. It's a laugh thing, not, you know, nothing serious. And I think it's a fun way to end your show. There you go. I don't know what city this is, but they're all going to die on Thursday.
379 degrees. Yes, everybody's gonna die on Thursday in that city. Well, it was Fox News, so it wasn't true anyways. Everybody in the chat, you know, I appreciate you guys. You guys are always great and funny and compassionate and advocates and everything. So I do appreciate you very, very much so. Jenny, thank you for stopping by. You know, I always appreciate you being here. Laura, it was nice to see you and talk to you for a bit.
I'm happy to join any day, anytime.
Okay, good deal. Well, we usually do this mostly like a guy thing because there's so few guys in the community, trans guys.
Yeah.
And then we usually bring the ladies in later, but Ben and I decided to just go ahead and kick it off tonight.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Fine.
Well, it's like 4 in the morning, isn't it for you, Laura?
It is. It's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But
What the hell are you doing up?
I'm disabled, so I don't have to go to work, so I can sleep anytime I want and get up anytime I want, within the bounds of you know, if I need to go to a doctor's appointment or whatever. So it's not a big issue. But I'm into railway modelling, and I have joked that you know, I've got so many projects that I want to get done, and I'm nearly 50, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get them all done in my lifetime.
She's a rivet counter.
I've been thinking about sort of, you know, seeing if I can find myself a vampire to bite me or something like that, so I can, you know, become one of the.
So you have more time to work on them, yeah.
And not only that, I spend most of my time up at night anyway, so it won't make much difference to my social life. All I need is Factor 3000 sun cream, and I'll be fine.
I gotta know something. If you're a railroad modeler, have you ever counted rivets?
I do. I jokingly refer to myself as a circumcision standard modeler. You go all the way, or you just don't bother. So
for the chat, folks in the chat that don't know what that means, people who are into railroad modeling have the reputation in that community of being just completely obsessive with accuracy to scale. And when I worked at a company that actually made model railroad equipment, we would actually have to count the number of rivets on things, because we know that if we didn't get the count right, that these people would get back to us and not buy the product and stuff. because it wasn't dead accurate.
You see,
Right.
that's the problem. That there are people like the rivet counters, which is often used as a slur, to be honest. You know, it's like, oh, I'm going to point a finger at you as if you're the one that's got the problem, whereas me, I'm prepared to accept.
No, I've never
substandard
heard
stuff.
it used as a slur, just as a community kind of joshing at each other.
Yeah, no, it's you. There is actually a slur used in the UK here and there. It's not a hard one. It's just like one of those mumbling under your breath kind of things. But now you see, although I may count those rivets, and if they're wrong, I'll still buy it and just get some rivet strip and put some rivets on, or whatever. You know, I'm not exactly. I don't really count rivets, to be honest, but I do things to a much higher standard than the average modeler. You know, I mean, I'm published and stuff, so you know, I'm the vice chair of Model Railway Society. I've done modelling research on colour schemes, the colour schemes they used to carry for British Rail. There are tens of thousands of models running around people's layouts based upon my research, which is kind of humbling, actually. So
yep, she's one of them.
Yeah, she is.
You know, but like I say, to me, I get an enjoyment out of going the extra stage further.
Laura,
Yeah.
do you have in UK? I didn't know our markets. I just know our publications. Do you know Walthers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I used to work for.
Oh, right. Okay. They're considered one of the best brands in the US.
Yeah, I was in the publications department doing
Right.
catalogs.
Ironically, one of the companies of the lowest standard in the UK, in the US, is Bachman, who is the highest in the UK. But anyway, maybe we'll talk after.
I was going to say we can do this afterwards because I'm not really in this conversation. This was between two of you. So anyways, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you so much. Laura and Jenny, thank you for coming by and having a good conversation. And most of all, what we've learned from this is don't forget to count your rivets. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And have some peace in your life, everybody.